Hey,
Good
Doug.
evening. Made it this week.
That's good.
And
Everybody's
this
getting
Kelly.
busy. Everybody's getting busy this time of year.
Oh yeah, isn't it fun?
Mm-hmm.
Last week, my family was still having Christmas, so
Wow.
I was kind of tied up.
Still having Christmas. Whew. Only that.
Yeah, we tend to spread it out a little bit.
Just a little, just a little.
Yeah, my parents live in Louisville, and my sister lives in North Carolina, so it's a little difficult for us to all get together sometime.
Yeah, I know. I'm still trying to deliver gifts I made for my two kids back in probably October. It's just that the truth is, this is the only social interaction I get the entire week is right here with you.
Sure.
With that's it. It conditions. It has to be very limited, and I'm making the best of it. I am really. I'm a little downtrodden, but hey, aren't we all sometimes a little downtrodden?
Oh yeah.
You're still doing therapy a couple times a week, aren't you?
I'm sorry.
You're still doing therapy a couple times a week?
Yeah, a couple.
Every day.
Four to
Every
five,
day.
maybe.
It depends on, well, you've add the aqua size to the talking to the other stuff. Yeah, it's pretty busy. It's got my wife gone crazy, but yeah, she's behind me all the way. In fact, she came up with all these programs, and that sweet doctor I have came up with the one that I went to Friday. That might be the Fix It program. That might be the one. This only time that I felt that it worked. There's Jim.
Here we are.
Oh, I see Dane popped in too.
Yes, he did.
Yep. Like a pimple on prom night, just keep coming back.
Ooh, that's terrible. That's terrible.
Wow.
Heard one today. It said, if you want a real shock, put your underwear on backwards. And when you really have to go take a whiz, you'll get the real shock.
My
What?
thing is, you should tell all the teenagers that it's cool to wear your underwear on the outside. Let's see
Damn near,
how,
dude.
how far they'll go to be cool.
Don't give them any ideas.
They
They
already
might
lose
as
their
well.
pants around their knees.
Yeah.
All we got to do is get one rock and roller, wear it like that, and then it's done.
I seen a couple guys walking down the street the other day, and one of the kids literally had his pants around his ankles.
Nice.
Hi, everyone.
I just can't believe it. It's disgusting.
Next
Yeah, it
generation
is.
doesn't stand a chance.
Tell me about it.
You know, it convinces me of one thing. Those children have never heard this.
You got it.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a fact.
Or that sound of the belt whipping out of the pants.
You can hear it now, right? Right out.
Too late to say anything.
Oh my, yeah, yeah. You have a strike before you realize what you heard.
My thing was, if you did something wrong and you came in, where is he? Where is he?
That's right.
Because you never got by with it, that's for sure.
No, no.
But you know, it's a totally different world we're in, and that's going to happen all the time. I saw something the other day. Somebody said this common sense thing is not traditional. It's a punishment, because those of us who have common sense are being punished by those who do not.
Yep.
Right.
That is
Hey, Eddie,
true.
can you set me up for co-host, please, Eddie?
That's gonna be Trace.
For Trey?
Maybe. Yeah, Trace is like me. We lost track of what day it was. I was sitting out on the veranda, looking at my
Okay, Dan,
iPad. I went
I
to
thought
close
I'd
it.
already flagged you, but you got it now.
Right on. Thanks, Trey.
I went up, opened my iPad and said, "Oh, it's Wednesday."
Mhm.
That's a good thing.
Brenda, I'm gonna update my iPad. I'm updating my iPad tomorrow morning. I'm getting a Generation 9 or 9 generation. Because the one I bought that Best Buy convinced me was the right one. It doesn't do cellular. So we're gonna do a trade, but I'm not going to trade them. I'm going to trade Apple and get me one that does cellular because this T-Mobile this thing sucks here, and I got to have a backup.
Yep.
Just hope you don't want to watch a continuous movie when I have it on TV because you ain't going to get the whole thing.
Speaking of which, I was watching TV last night and the whole thing just shut off.
You gotta
Yeah.
pay your cable bill.
Yeah.
The TV itself went off. The power went off. It wouldn't come back on.
Oh, your power and all went off?
Well, no, just the power on the TV.
Oh,
Yeah.
sounds like a TV problem.
Yeah. I figured it was time, so I just went to bed.
Did it come back on today?
I ain't turned it back on yet. No.
Were you watching anything good?
Yes.
She's watching something she
You're
wasn't supposed to be watching.
That's what it was. That's it.
I was watching a movie, a series. What was it called? Oh, The Imposters.
What's it about?
About a bunch of con artists
Kind of like a Zoom meeting.
pretended to be somebody else.
What Turner?
Funny.
I'm doing some learning.
How you doing, Eddie?
Hey, I'm all right, sir. And you?
Oh, pretty good.
Good.
I brought them rings so Brenda could see them.
Oh, cool. Hey, well, hold on. Say that. Say it again. We're going to get you back in spotlight.
There's one.
Ooh, it's pretty.
Oh, man.
Is that all
That's
acrylic?
That's all solid resin, it looks like. Oh, yeah.
That's
Yeah, that's
all
what I know.
acrylic.
That is gorgeous.
This is out of a pin blank.
Babinga?
Yep.
Yeah. Nice. See,
Well,
Dane, I would.
I just switch them all over.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, nice.
That is
Very
nice.
nice.
I like that blue one. I love that blue one. And that second one
This,
from in the bottom, second to the bottom row. Yeah.
this is all acrylic too,
Yeah.
but it's supposed to have copper in it, but it don't show up very well.
Pretty
Did you
neat.
cast those, Daniel?
What's that?
Did you cast those yourself?
No, I bought them.
4-inch
Okay.
ball trimmed with
This one here has got copper in it. And I got another one that's got brass in it.
Nice.
That's
And underneath it, I put wire for strength.
now that's bigger diameter than a pin blank. So how did you turn that?
This right here, I just bought some wood and
Back it
I
up.
turned it round. And then after I turned it round, I used the Forstner bit up through the center. And made a little mandrel, slid it on there, and after I made it to size and turned the outside, and it turned out quite well.
It sure did.
without a ring core in it, you've never had any trouble with any of them breaking?
I did.
That was the truth or true the consequence question. Okay.
This is one that is broke,
It's got
but I
cedar in
turned
it.
it down to
Yeah.
a 16th. I think you can see the break in it.
Oh, it's adjustable.
Okay.
Yeah, that's adjustable. Yeah.
Okay,
But I
Still
found
ready.
out if you turn them down to a 16th, then they'll break, but 2/16 they don't. And this one has got a broke too.
raise it up a little bit. There you go. Oh, yeah, I see now.
Wooden gears.
But other than that, they turned out good.
Yeah,
And I'm a farm boy and I don't buy tools that I can make. So I made this.
Oh,
Those are handy.
oh,
Mm-hmm.
I had a drill
Sweet.
that motor that broke. So I said, well, instead of making a bunch of handles with drill bits in them, I'll just put that on.
nice.
That uses a 3/8 24 thread, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it works quite nice. But I got a question for you. I don't know. I don't think this is high-speed steel. I think it's carbon.
It is carbon.
Got it upside down.
Now, if I
Yeah.
put that on my diamond wheel, that'll mess it up, won't it?
Yeah.
TBN.
CBN wheel, yeah.
If you do a bunch of grinding with carbon on a CBN, yes, it will, unless you clean the residual, the loaded wheel, clean it.
I cleaned mine last week. It takes a couple of hours to do it correctly.
Yeah. It's a process.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna. I got
Use-
another grinder. I'll just grind it with a regular stone.
Yeah.
Even using the slick stick, it still loads up pretty good over time.
Yeah. I made this little tool for doing the grooves on the rings. I bought that piece of bar at Harbor Freight for $5. They got a whole little pack.
And it hasn't broke yet?
Nope. Made these little. I'll tell you what, that little thing is very aggressive.
Did you buy that steel recently from Harbor Freight? Because I went up there and they said they don't have them anymore or something.
It was about a year ago.
Me.
And I bought this steel on Amazon because I wanted a real small what do you call it there?
Skew.
Skew?
Skew, yeah.
Round bar skew.
Yep.
Hmm.
And then I was watching Mike Pence
Piece.
or Peace or whatever his name is. And this is a little tool that he had. And he has how to make it. It's got bushings in it, but I bought the bearings because I'm going to make another one. And this is for like a Dremel, but I'm going to make one for a 1/4 inch.
Nice.
But I just like making stuff. And I was using this and the chips were thrown in my face. So I put a piece of wood in there. And now they would just fill up on that and kind of boil over.
Oh, hey, I like that idea.
I always stuck my hand there, but still, that beats my hand.
Yeah, that might keep them from get out of my shirt.
Yep.
Nice. I'm gonna try that.
And I made some burning tools, burning wires, guitar
Oh, yeah.
string.
Sweet. You turned the balls there?
Yeah.
Nice.
Like I say, it's just something to do.
Looks like
Well,
you
you
got a
seem
nice
to be
big
doing it
shop
pretty well.
there.
What's that?
So it looks like you got a nice big shop there.
Well, yeah, I got quite a bit of stuff here. It's on the other side though.
Yeah. Bigger
This,
the shop, the more tools you get, though.
I'm
Big-
making this into a badan or whatever they call it.
That's that dangerous tool, isn't it?
Nah.
The one that's
No,
real hard,
it-
real dangerous to use.
No,
No,
No, but Dan's just a scraper.
Yep.
Okay.
It's like a parting tool on steroids.
and you can use it for a lot of other things. So
Yep.
I figured, well, I'll do that.
yeah.
And the other thing I made, which will be my last thing, and I made a bunch of these. I got to send them out. My grandkids.
We don't, there we go. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, pretty.
And yes,
Looks
they
like
spent-
one in my stash.
Yeah.
I
Nice.
have to go
make
check it now.
You got to make an upside down one. Have you seen those?
These will spin upside down.
If you hollow them out, they'll spin upside down.
I didn't hollow these, but they spin upside down. I found that.
Huh.
And I also found out that the smaller you make the stem, the faster they'll spin.
Oh, yeah.
So
Okay.
I also found if I leave a little more bulk around the base, like around the big part, that they spin pretty good too. I used to have one here. If I leave a little more bulk in this area, then it spins faster and longer too.
Hold on, we're gonna get to you so we can see you.
well, that's all I got anyway.
Yeah, right on.
Sorry,
Thanks,
guys.
Daniel.
If I leave a little more here and a little more here, then it spins faster and longer. But if there's more meat down here by the base, I don't know,
Yep.
adds more momentum or something. But you experiment. I mean, there's a lot of good shapes and forms out there. Those look really nice, Daniel.
Oh, thank you.
Keep
I got a whole
turning.
bag full of them.
We have a lot going on right now, and well, it's really early in the evening. So I'm glad we got some folks popping in. That's some good tips and tricks that Danny just showed us with that block in there. I know one time somebody at one of the trade shows was selling like shields, plexiglass little 2x2s, and a little bracket that you could hook them onto your tool to keep the shavings come back. And it would look like a good demonstration. Now, then I got to thinking about it. The time and trouble you have to go through to create that, to make that plastic thing, move it, keep it, and don't break it. What Daniel has right there, you cut a piece of dowel and tape it back on. But this other one, I'd say, that's one of those things that grab you at the show and say, you can't live without it. I'm still here. I didn't buy it. I'm still here. So. This week I got a really nice gift from, where is it? It's right here. Bob Clark. Out of
that's
Palmdale,
nice.
Florida.
That's Spectraply?
Yes.
Yes, that's hard as a rock, man.
Yeah. Bob showed it there. And my dear wife, she looks at it and she says, well, that's good for a plus screw. What do you if you get a minus screw? All right, she's a dear lady, she's taking care of me. I gotta be careful what.
Now, this ring is made.
Tell her it's not for pluses, it's for multiplication.
Multiplication.
245 degrees.
You guys are terrible.
Now, this ring is made out of Spectraply.
We can't see it, Daniel.
Can't see it.
Where'd
No.
you go? Hold on.
I got you.
There it is.
There you go.
Ooh. Yes.
I'm getting ready to make a red one. The red ones are actually prettier. Oops, dropped it.
That's nice. Oh, I see.
You don't want to make
Got
that
black spot on
adjustment.
one side and white on the other. That's cool.
Do you make them to a standard size or do you size them for individuals or how do you do that?
I've got a ring sizer and I size them for whoever I'm making them for.
Gotcha.
And I do but have some of the metal inserts, but I'll tell you, those things cost quite a bit.
Motion detected at the front door.
Yeah.
And this one, I use glitter in it.
Oh, nice.
So, and it's wide. And there's one thing about it. If you make a wide one, if their finger is an 8, you better make it a 9 because it won't fit. Because the wider they are, I don't know why, but it just seems to be a
Yeah, our fingers change size with the weather and what
Yep.
we eat and stuff. So yeah, that's good advice.
I don't even know what
What-
this was a shrub.
Really?
Yep.
What do you?
It was wood. It gets turned.
Yep.
Right.
Dan, you're telling us about that, turning that pin, turning that, those rings. Good timing, Daniel, because we have got it's coming up. We have a proposal to do a challenge gallery later this year, close to Christmas, for jewelry.
Yep.
Now, don't ever think that's cheeky or easy, and that's just a toy. I used to be in a club with some guys that said, I don't turn pens because, I'm not that low on a totem pole. And in an open meeting one day, I said, you don't turn pens because you're not capable. That's all it is to it. If you pass up on this because you just can't do it. It's just because. But we're going to do that demo. In fact, we got a couple of them. I want to pop it up here right now. This is it right here. We got gallery challenges coming up. For March 15th, we have the St. Patrick's Day gnomes. Thank you, Pat. And April 15th, looking for Easter eggs. Come on, get creative with that one. That can be fun. I'm looking for some really, really interesting stuff there. We're going to take back the country on June 28th. And that's for the July 4th celebration. We always looking for entries into the Beads of Courage program, and we'll go try to get those to Waco in time this year. And also ornaments will be on the tap this year. Now, we're going to go for ornaments, and we'll warn you straight away. If you're going to run with ornaments, you're going to run up against Trace. Okay? Just so you know. He is a ornament crazy man. He does awesome work. You've seen it. If you haven't seen it, look at our back issues. And it's so fun. It really is. Because guess what? You can't go wrong. You can't. And you will develop your own techniques. Just like what Dan was saying with doing the rings. I got a whole bunch of those Spectraply blocks from Ruth Niles a couple of years ago. And they were all 2x2. And half an inch or so thick. I would glue one. I would use double stick tape, put it on a faceplate, a wooden faceplate, and a panel of faceplate. And then I use my small carbide tool, just a regular sharp cornered carbide tool, and I'd slide in there and take the inside out to be the right size. And I have one of those ring gauges, so you know when the size gets right. And sand it out, finish it up, then take it off and put it on a mandrel. Mandrel is a piece of wood. It's like the dowel that Dan had just now. I just put it on and taper it, slight taper. I can slip it up on and finish it up. I tell you what, that is such an easy program to do. And the stuff that comes out, you'll never have a problem giving it away. Or if you're going to a trade show, selling it. But the trade shows are difficult because of sizes. I mean, there's not a lot of room right here for wide ones. I've bought some wide rings because I thought I'd like them, and it just didn't work out.
I got a
Every time
question
I
for
get-
Daniel.
Every time I
What's
get
that?
involved with rings, I get in trouble.
I've got a ring here just set up. I'm going to turn it tomorrow, but I've got it mounted with tape, and I'll try and get it where you can see it.
Yeah,
We got it now.
And that's just mounted with tape. I've just got to drill it with a 3/4 inch
Forstner bit.
Forstner bit, and then round it out. But I use this to set up on there
We lost you. Now you back.
There you go.
to even the pressure out on it. On
And
that tape.
that's just a little waste block of wood.
Yeah.
Like your size
Okay.
gauge, kind of like?
Huh?
Is that like your size gauge type thing?
Yeah, it's
maintain
just something to put
pressure.
Down
pressure
to-
on it.
Okay.
Similar to what I
And-
used to do with the thing we call the soft.
I can kind of show you what that'll look like when it's done, because I got one over here that I super glued to the because that's the finish I use. I super glued it to the mandrel.
What kind of finish did you say you put on it?
Let me see. Can't find there it is.
Beautiful. Oops.
I must have hit my
Casual.
volume. There we go.
Yeah, right there. Whoop, now you're making me dizzy.
Sorry.
That's pretty.
And here's another little piece of it.
Oh my goodness.
You could
But
make
I-
those into earrings, Daniel.
Yeah, I could.
Oh, there you go.
This is the little mandrel. In fact, I called Eddie a couple years ago, talked to him about this. And he told me, he says, well, why don't you just make a mandrel? So I did. And I made another one.
There you
And I
go.
just put a piece of wood in it. It's got a split down the center,
Mhm.
and just run something up just to expand it a little. But
Cool.
there's all kinds of things.
You say you finish yours with CA glue?
That and a little 2-inch piece of cloth, or not cloth, towel, paper towel.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
One thing I will warn people about, and this is from when was in jury school. The ring size mandrels are not all necessarily exactly the same size. There are variations between it. My professor gave me a case that they out in the front of the store, they measure the ring size and told him this is the size to do it. And he reset it to that size, and he wound up doing it about 3 times until he found out that his gauge and the one in the front of the store were not the same. So
That's good to
make
know.
sure that when you're sizing a ring that you use the same mandrel and stuff to check it with. So-
Maybe it was metric, huh?
No, it wasn't metric. Some of these
Who knows?
some of the imported things and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff are not very accurate.
If you look when we talk about ring sizers, you can find some on Amazon that are both stainless or coated. That'll give you the tube with the lengths on it, so you can measure somebody else's ring and get that size. And then it's got the rings on it, so you can have them slip it on. When I was doing a lot of rings, I would not do the sizing thing. If you just said, "Oh, I want one this big and I can size it on my ring sizer," the next thing I want to do is take that same thing and put the ring on you, the round part, and slip it on and say, "You comfortable with that?" Because it's, who said that earlier? Your fingers size differently and act differently. What I like about the ones Dan was make with copper, they'd be like the ones in high school where it left a mark. I remember those. There you go. That's the ring.
Something like these. This is ring sizers here.
Yeah, that's what he was talking about.
Yep.
And then I've got this one for
Yep.
checking somebody else's ring.
Yep.
But it was cheap. It was on.
Does your ring sizing cylinder there, does it tapered cylinder, does it have a number 2 MT? Does it fit into your lathe?
No. No.
That would be nice.
Yeah, it would be. But they've got all kinds of stuff out there they want you to buy, but I'm not one to buy a bunch of junk.
I've got one or two of those ring mandrels with a little black wash and all that stuff. But I go right back to exactly what Dan had just now. I've got it mine is split, and when I put the ring on it, I can just bring up my large point tailstock to it, put a little pressure on it, that'll expand it and hold it. I haven't had a problem with it getting away. And when you do the finish, here's a tip: put a piece of wax paper under that ring before you put it on there.
Yep.
Finish the interior before you take it off the mantle, before you take it out of the thing. You know, these are all fun projects to play with, and we need to get some more demos lined up for those things. And everybody can do them. Dan, you can do it right there. You got a cell phone, you can do the demo for us if you choose. Now, I'm not the guy that will sign you up for that. That's Dane. And once he gets a sniff, he's on you.
Well,
Pick a date, Daniel.
once I get going on it again, I'll probably do it. This is a little gnome I'm making.
Cute.
Mike Pen Peace had made a bunch of these, and I said, I'm going to give that a shot. And he put across on the end of the spear, repent. I thought that.
Does
was
his
cute.
hat come off?
No.
His hat might come off and it'd be a box.
Yep.
That's
But
cool.
that's all out of 2x4s. So
Good. All right.
Great.
Awesome.
I
Good
figured
times.
if I can
Put him
cut
in the
it that,
closer.
if I can cut it that smooth with a 2x4, I'm doing pretty good.
Yes, you are.
Bob
Bill
Grinstead
Miller's getting in
says
trouble.
he's going to he'll be first in line to see that demo from you. Yeah,
Oh,
Bob,
okay.
he's up. We got a couple of galleries popped in on us, folks. And we do these galleries before our demonstrations each week. And if you got something to show in gallery, just go right to the chat and put in, I have something to show. That's what Carl Gary put in there. I have something to show. But before him, Doug Miller said, I got something nicer to show.
Surely not. It's not nicer, I'm sure. I'm going to get ahead of the game instead of being one of the last in the game. There's some more 2x4. Whipped out about, well, I had some 6-inch pieces sitting in my little shelf area behind my lathe, and I just knocked a whole bunch of those out of pine, and I wasn't through yet, needed some more, so went over and got a piece of wormy chestnut. That's you're gonna all these guys I watch out of England and Europe and whatever, that's something they can't get. They can get sweet chestnut, but they can't get American wormy chestnut. In fact, most of us can't get it either. I just happen to have 2 or 3 boards of it been sitting around for a long time. But anyway, there you go. I got a good start on my eggs for this year.
Yeah, you do. It's a nice shape.
Nice job, Doug.
Thank you.
Yep. Very nice.
All right. Let's go to Carl.
You got me now?
Almost had you, and then you jumped on me. I got you.
Okay. Little bowl I did.
Pull
made
back
out of
towards you,
stone.
Carl.
There you go.
Nice.
Go.
First time I used rattle can lacquer.
You did good with it.
Oh,
it looks
my.
nice.
Heck
That's
yeah.
nice.
Upside down.
Okay.
There you
Now
go.
you hand carved that, didn't you, Carl?
Laser.
Oh, you see, Carl, I gave you a chance. Come on.
We're allowed to lie on here. Eddie said so.
Oh my goodness.
Very nice.
That
That
is
is
Laser
nice.
Pecker 2 that I have played with.
What was that?
It's a Laser Pecker 2.
Oh,
engraver.
Oh, okay.
okay.
How you like that?
It's pretty good. It'll do about 4 inches wide, and I have an accessory that you can extend the length of it, probably to 18, 20 inches, something like that.
Have you tried using it with the piece still mounted on the lathe?
I haven't yet, no.
Right on.
Thank you, Carl. It's good
What kind of
looking
wood
work.
is that? What kind of wood is that?
Cherry.
Ah, nice.
Oh, looks like Dave Kingsley's in the house.
I made myself a little hollow form,
Sweet.
and it's walnut, and the first piece of ebony I've ever turned.
Like that.
Was the ebony hard to turn?
No, not really.
No. I like
I
it.
still haven't taken the tenon on
Handle.
it, but and I
Nice.
still have to sand the inside, but
That is nice.
not bad.
Had more leave time this week, huh?
Yeah, I'm trying to work it so I get at least one morning a week out there.
There you go.
But the little guy keeps me pretty busy. But
All
I'm
right,
happy.
good.
I'm very happy.
Yes, nothing wrong with that. Nice job, Dave.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
All
All
right.
right. We're doing a little
So,
gallery right now.
Billy.
You got another one, Dane?
Yeah, we got Billy Bird up.
Oh, no, man. That is not Billy Burt. I don't know who's telling you what.
Yeah,
I saw
really.
Billy Burt on a photograph the other day, and he had dark hair. And I mean, it was hair, real hair.
Yes, and my beard was nearly black.
Yeah, Eddie, you know, I've seen an old photograph of somebody else with dark hair on their head and you know, just
Let's
saying.
not talk about it, okay?
I see that blonde picture.
I've seen that.
This was a large, it's about 10.5 inches wide right now. It was a large, it was just about 13 inches wide when I finished it. It was a hollow form, one of my first. It was a walnut crotch from a piece of walnut that came down on a house in Louisiana. You've heard me talk about this walnut before. But it was a crotch, and I wasn't happy. The walls were like that thick. Like I said, it was one of my first hollowings. And I just never was really happy with it. I didn't like the shape. I didn't like how heavy it was. And so I took it back to the lathe last week and I cut the top off and decided to make a bowl out of it. But because of my goofy shape that the hollow form was, I just really didn't like the foot being that small. So I made a pedestal for it out of SIPO, African mahogany.
Golly.
And this is the, anyway,
Nice.
it's stacked and cut, just like you've seen me do before, rings, like you do on a ringmaster. So this is the base. It's about 1/4 inch thick, and finished with deft spray lacquer gloss and polished on the lathe with, come on, light, get in there. Polished on the lathe with, you can see some curl right up in here. It's just really, really pretty. Lots of chatoyance in it. Anyway, polished with Axe
Axe.
abrasive paste and polish and restoring paste. I'll get there in a minute. My remember don't function too well, but my forgetter is flawless.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, I like it now. It's got a funky shape to it, kind of, but it's okay.
Beautiful.
It's about a 1/4 of an inch thick all the way down, maybe a little less. But it sure is pretty. I like it.
Oh, it
Yes,
is. It is pretty.
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
Really nice. Really.
Good job, Billy. All right, let's go across the pond to Paul Hannaby. Hey, Paul.
There he is.
Evening, all
Where
morning.
you been,
John.
Paul? We ain't seen you forever.
That's been a while, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a couple to show you. This one here is a shallow bowl made from poplar with some pretty nice ripple figuring in it, or quilting.
Yes.
Did you say poplar?
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
That quilting is amazing.
Yeah, it's got a hole in it, but I decided to leave the hole. I was thinking of filling it, but
Oh no. Yeah. Good
Yeah.
choice.
No, it's perfect. It's a
Yeah.
feature.
Good choice.
How wide is that?
About 14 inches, I think.
Really?
Yeah, about 14. I'll
That's
take that.
lovely, Paul.
I'll measure it. 15.
Very
Or
nice.
an inch out. Yeah, 15 inches across that one. And I've got another one slightly smaller. This one, which was turned from beech.
That's a pretty piece.
So it's got some nice flaming in it, as they call it.
Yeah, it does.
Beautiful.
That's nice, Paul.
What's
the finish on
those, Paul? This one is it's just a boiled linseed oil finish, so you could use that as a food bowl or salad bowl.
That is
The
gorgeous.
popular one was sanding cedar and wax, so a higher shine on that. This has got less of a shine on it, but it's I like it this way anyway. But yeah, this one's just a sort of a food safe finish. But this bowl, a little while ago, Mark Hancock, a turner in the UK, some of you may have heard of, was clearing out his workshop because he's moving over to the States, and in fact I think he's sort of moved now. And he said, come over, I might have some bits of wood for you because he's clearing out your workshop. So I went to visit him and he gave me lots of pieces of wood that were blanks and whatever that he wasn't going to be able to take with him, plus a load of part turn bowls and things like that. And this one was one of those. Originally it was a little bit taller, it's probably about that high, but there was a sort of up here, there was an inclusion and a crack and then another crack on the outside. So I turned it in to get past one crack and then lost a little bit off the top to get rid of the inclusion and another couple of cracks. So this is what came out of that. So that was originally roughed out by Mark Hancock, probably 20 years ago. I think it had a date on the bottom that was sort of early 2000s. And
Nice.
so yeah,
Lovely.
that's where it came from.
Good. Thank you, Paul. Good to see you again, bud.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Trey.
Oh, okay. You popped it up. I have a box I just completed.
Oh, I like that.
Goodness.
I glued the finial on. The finial is brass and I turned it with a ball gouge on the lathe.
Nice.
Nice.
And then the
Nice.
top
I
of it,
like the finial.
Gotta
Cool.
get it.
That's pretty cool.
What kind of wood is that?
the top is blackwood.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, somebody's been playing with a rose engine.
Yep.
Rose engine.
So that was rose engine there too.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't see it very well.
Yeah.
Oh, you can see
Move it close, move it higher, move it up by your head and move it higher. And move it, and now move it closer to the camera.
Stand on one foot.
You can barely see the pattern in the bottom.
Yeah, it's still big.
Oh, there you can see that one.
Oh my.
It's like a spirograph.
Lovely.
And I'm
That's
assuming the
beautiful.
rose engine did the sides as well.
Rose engine did the sides as well. And what I did is I used fixed tooling on it versus a cutter on it.
Right.
Fixed tooling is basically using a scraper.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That
And
is
you move it in
beautiful,
about a
Trish.
thousandth of an inch every revolution as you scrape it, going down on it.
Lovely, absolutely lovely.
Yes, it is.
You make that straight out, or do you make a sample?
No, I was playing around with the fixed tooling. Is what
Yeah,
I
but
was doing. So
you-
no,
you
this is
do
the
it-
first,
you
this
do-
is the first one I made. There's no sample on it.
But you don't do a sample piece or a separate piece or something that you do
No,
it.
this was my sample piece.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. Very nice.
If you don't like it, you can just send it my way. I know how to dispose of it.
Yes.
Wow, that's pretty.
But one key thing, the finial was done on my regular lathe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just brass, you know, it's just
Right.
turned brass. It's just a turned brass finial.
Yep.
Takes a while to do.
No, not that long.
Not if you have sharp tools.
It didn't take too long. If you don't start out with an inch diameter brass to start
Yeah,
with.
but maybe
Right.
that's my trouble.
Yeah.
Aluminum.
That is-
Yeah.
Are there softer brass? I mean, can you buy it soft or hard or?
I don't know. The brass I use is the brass I happen to have in my shop. I don't
Okay.
even know what it is.
There are certain brass alloys that are designed for machining. I don't know the classification of them, but yeah, there are ones that are better for use on the lathe.
Right. I don't.
There
worry
are a
about
lot
that
of different
usually.
types of brasses though, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some
I
machines
use-
better than others, but you know.
I use I'll use cast brass plumber fittings that to make ferrules and stuff for things. It's what I used for my cane.
Yeah.
It took a little bit to get past the rough part, but once I got down to smooth brass, it shaped relatively easily.
It turned relatively easy too. I was getting nice curls out coming off of it, but you know, not big, but little tiny curls, but it makes progress.
Good. Thank you, Trace. It's really nice.
Thanks,
Mhm.
Trey. All right, let's go to
On-
Bill.
on-
Good evening, all.
There he is.
Yes. How's everyone tonight?
Good. You
Doing
said
good.
Good. It's been a bit of a slow time in the shop. It's about 15 to 20 degrees centigrade Fahrenheit outside, so a bit cool. But and there's still 3.5 feet of snow in the yard, but we'll be back out there soon. In the meantime, I've been finishing up some hollow farms that I've been working on. So this is a piece of West Coast fir. It's a burl.
Ooh,
That's good looking stuff.
yes.
That is a beautiful piece.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. This one is a piece of big leaf maple, again, a West Coast species.
Oh my
Very pretty.
goodness.
Nice figuring in the on the top of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the third one is a Nootka cypress, again, a West Coast yellow, very soft. I don't know what you call it, tree.
Good.
Normally they don't get very big, but when they're old enough, they do get big enough to work with.
What's the neck made of?
And the neck is Western red cedar.
Nice. Is that a natural void in the side?
Yeah, well, it's not all the way through, but it's yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's neat.
That is beautiful.
I
Yeah, this
like a
is,
lot.
It,
quite special wood. It's pretty hard to find, I think.
Well, and it's
Yeah.
got burl in it too, because of the
Yeah.
bird's eyes, you can tell.
Yeah, you can see the
Yeah,
All right.
lovely.
yeah.
I.
Uh-huh.
love it.
Yeah.
Love
Got your
it too.
standard 1/8 inch walls on there, right?
Oh, yeah, exactly. First what I did, I painted the inside black and I put this collar on so you can't get your
Yeah.
paint.
Oh, I know. I remember you explaining that before.
Yeah.
That's why I had to say that.
I'm getting a little more dangerous here. So you can actually get in here and check these. The last two, you can actually check them. That's it for
Good
today.
experience. Good
Nice
experience is
job.
catching up to you.
Thanks,
Wow.
Joe. Really nice.
All right, Bonzo.
got some got some
What we
interesting
got?
looking work coming up tonight. Some gorgeous wood, man.
Yes.
Just wipe the chins because I mean, y'all all gotta be dripping. I mean, I see Billy. Billy's got a napkin up there. You know, sees a girl like that. All right. For a while, for a couple of weeks, we've been talking about what to do about a club decal. Now, if we would jump over to Dane's house, we would see a decal like this on his lathe. His almost the exact same thing. That's what we got from one of our members a long time ago. And it made it. It's we had 100 of them, and we they went pretty quick. But I'm asking, can we get some more? So I went looking today, and I talked to somebody local, but I've got proposals out to about 10 people in the marketplace, 10 other places, because I'm really not terribly happy with this. But for club details, with your approval, consent, and your help, I'm going to work on some decals for the club. Art is similar to the one shown, except it's going to say worldwidewoodturners.org. It'll be a clear top sheet, color logo, and lettering, and there'll be a size. Now, I've had several questions about which size. Do you want a 3-inch or a 5-inch? Well, we're going to see where the one goes before we do it. And see those two prices right there, $3.32 and $6. That's if I use the local guide. That's what it's going to cost me to sell you and ship to you a decal. $3.32 for the 3-inch and $6 for the 5-inch. That's why I got to get out of this deal. I'm not going to get into this deal. I'm going to find somebody. But that's what I'm basing my research on. Now I want to pursue this. If the membership pardon.
So I don't want to cut you off or anything, but I guess you didn't get my messages. So
no,
Chief Morgan had a contact and a site, and we've both priced them out a 3-inch sticker at 16-inch. Sorry, 3-inch sticker for 16 cents.
Oh, that ain't bad.
Sticker.
My.
That's a vinyl
So-
sticker.
Well,
Like
it'd
that
be a
sticker you're using, Billy?
It'd be a sticker like what we have here, except they're better made, and it's it's a solid decal sticker.
Right. But I mean, what you can get stickers made on paper or on vinyl. Paper is typically always cheaper. Vinyl will last longer.
Let me pull up the site here, and you guys go ahead and keep talking.
All right.
And I will look at it again.
Now, in the beginning of this club, we had some members make these clear decals with the printing on the back of it. Dane's got one on his lathe. I've got one on mine, and I got one on the car. Billy's got one. I've seen them around. The thing came 3 or 5-inch, and we can play with that. Now, if we do a vinyl with a print on vinyl, that's going to be relatively inexpensive, and that's where Dane is going right now. If you do the clear with the letters that when you peel the back off the decal, you stick it on something, and then you peel off the clear coating on the top, and all you have there is the vinyl stickers. I'm asking for a couple of proposals on that, but let me condition all this. I'll pursue it only if the membership permits this, because we have this deal about money. We don't have any, and it's not a bad move. We don't have money. I will arrange and pay for the initial order. We'll get an idea what people want, and then we'll work with that. The decals will be available to anyone who wants one. No limitations, no restrictions, nothing else. We'll set the cost up at that time. You will know exactly what we're showing you and what you're going to get. And the members will have to pay me, get this, for the sticker, the envelope, and a mailing. Sticker, envelope, and mailing. Now, the thing is this: there may be a difference in what we're paying to get and what you're paying me for. Now, that's where somebody before said, "Well, we don't have money." Not really. anything that's left over will go back into a fund, directly back into the fund to continue the program. So maybe by the second run, they come down cheaper. By the third run, they come down cheaper, whatever. But I want to be very careful that it's not based upon anybody gaining anything from this. There's no pocket to put the money in. Really, there isn't. And my CPA guy, Charlie, says he knows how I can get this flipped around to where it won't show that I have an income, just collecting the money for the stickers and mailing them out. But I've got a couple of samples to take to the post office in 5-inch envelopes and smaller envelopes to see if, what the shipping will be. So we have a better idea. And all those prices be based on shipping to the US. If somebody in a Great Britain or Australia, somebody wants them, we'll have to work out something individual on that. And the smart move would be buy a bunch. But with the
I can
club
report
jumping
back.
on board, we can do that.
So I can report back now on it. So for vinyl, it would be 29 cents a sticker at a 3-inch diameter.
It's not bad.
That's
No,
good.
that's really well.
29 cents on 1,000. So $283 initial outlay.
Right? See, on the 3-inch, I can put them in a standard envelope. See, the post office is going to jack us up for like 50 cents to mail it. But guess what? You only pay 150 cents. So if you buy 10, you only pay the 150 cent. And it goes in one envelope. You only got one envelope. But I've gotten a lot of PMs and emails about this, doing these stickers, and it might be time for us to beat our drum a little bit, get them out there. In fact, my plan is to go to SWAT this year, and I'd like to pass out a bunch of them at SWAT, but also if we have other folks going to other meetings and functions, put them in their hands and let them spread it around, because we are probably one of the finest word turning clubs in the world. We have the world's finest website. And right now, I look at the membership every week when I print the membership list. I look at the membership and I'm amazed at how many of these people are with us and stick with us all the time, share their information, their ideas, their demonstrations and all. It just amazes me. It is so wonderful that we all get together and do this. I'm not kidding. It's like sitting on a tailgate out in the parking lot, telling lies. And that's what we want to keep doing. Did I mention a minute ago that John Jordan passed away?
No, but it was bound to be mentioned.
No.
Yeah, John passed away. Awesome, excellent demonstrator and turner. A very nice man. I drove 4 hours to see one of his demos on a Saturday one day, and it was very, very nice. It was and there was, y'all been to the demonstrations where you have an early bird sitting in the front row that's going to keep throwing something in. I don't do that. Well, you're trying. Yeah, you've heard those. There was a guy in the front row of this demonstration that did it about 3 or 4 times. And John stopped for a second. He took off his microphone, put it down, and said, "Hey, folks, y'all can save a lot of money if you get him to teach your demonstration. All right?" And that room went dead quiet. Dead. And that guy didn't say another word the rest of the day. John put the headset back on and went right back to work, just like the man he was. But he called it just like he saw it. You want me to do the demo or you want to talk about it? And I've always hated those early birds that do demos like that. I saw a lot of them at SWAT. I mean, a couple of SWAT. Guy that did the CA finish on parts. And he was doing it. Guy said, "Man, you're wasting a lot of paper towels. And hey, you know how much that's going to cost?" And okay, you folks that work with CA glue, did the paper towels and the cost of the glue keep you from using CA? Did it? Yeah, that doesn't equate. It's not the same thing at all. So, but I want to miss John. Really.
I got a question about the stickers.
Go ahead.
Is it possible, Dane, you said that price was for 1,000. Is it possible to get 500 of the 3-inch and 500 of the 5-inch?
Sure. But it would, the price would increase.
For both of them, because you bring the numbers down, the numbers go up.
I got you. Okay.
But it'd be
So what-
something we can explore.
So,
We can
so you
explore it.
can, so they do their, you know, for their circles, they do in 1/4 inch increments. So you could, I mean, we could do 3 1/4, 3 1/2, 3 3/4, 4 inches, you know, but like you were saying with the envelopes, I don't think we would want to go anything beyond 3 1/2. You know, so 3 1/2 on, you know, a 3 1/2 inch circle on vinyl. For 1,000, it's the same. It didn't increase much. It's still 29 cents a sticker.
Yeah.
So
I was thinking the smaller ones, you would have more opportunity to put it in different spots on your lathe.
yeah, understandable.
Because it's gonna be smaller to fit, but yet the bigger ones are gonna look nicer.
Yeah. So let me do 500. So at 500, quantity of 500, that puts it at 26. Sorry, hold on.
You got enough fingers to do that?
He's gotta take his shoes off.
Yeah, I was for it. Well, I had to make sure. So that's going to put it at 49 cents a sticker. So
And
you're
that's-
going from 29 to
It's almost
49.
price,
Huh?
So,
Are they,
twice the
are they
price.
clear? Are they clear in the front so you can see the base color from behind whatever you stick on? Or are they white based?
Billy, you got one of your bowls nearby that you have your stamp on, your piece on?
It's a solid sticker. It's not like these ones here
Okay,
that we currently have.
Gotcha.
right.
Because they make a paper that I use when I pen cast. It's called Mill Coast. It's a matte finish waterproof paper that you use a laser or a ink jet printer on, and it works out to about $1 a sheet. So ever how many of those you could get on that sheet? I guess
Well,
you could probably get maybe 6. Yeah,
And then
so
plus
it's
your
about the
ink.
same price. Yeah.
I think that's what
But
that fella that was doing it earlier in our club creation was doing them on.
Yeah,
And
those ones aren't the best for trying to separate from the paper, let alone trying to put on your lathe or your toolbox or whatever.
yeah. So, all right, we're looking forward. We're gonna pursue this a little bit and see where we can get it and go. And I'd be interested in see what you folks want to do. And remember, it's really all about you. If you say it's not a good idea, we don't want to do it, or we want to change it, or whatever, that's what we're going to do. Exactly. I say this every meeting, and I've been chastised for it. There's no hierarchy here. We're all on the same level of the ladder, and we can all go up or we can all fall down, but we're going to do it all together. So we look at this. If this is something the club wants, we're going for it. And I don't see any reason we wouldn't, but I'm not going to try to influence your vote.
hey,
So
Ken,
Eddie,
I'll let a couple others do it.
so
Yes,
Eddie,
ma'am.
you want people to let you know if perhaps like if they would be interested in getting one, like in the chat, let you know.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm going to get it back. We're going to look at all the proposals. I'm going to get the information from Dane on that. And then I'm going to look at mailing. And when I mail those, I may be looking for a piece of poster board to go in an envelope with them. They keep them getting, post office takes such good care of our
Right.
mail. A smush and a smash will get you done. But, when you look at it, and we'll do this, get a little closer. I'd like that, if you want to put it in there tonight, that I'm interested in decals. If I'm going to say to get one's going to cost you $1, that might be anywhere offline, okay? But remember, once we paid the postage on one, we can buy 5. Just throwing it together, and we will do that. There's no shipping and handling per order. This is a bunch of friends getting together. You need it, you buy it, I'm gonna send it to you. That's what we're gonna do.
Eddie, is there a way that, remember that one time when we were voting on the piece that we liked the best of different things in the gallery? Remember that last
Yeah.
year? And we were doing a
Oh.
vote.
We can put up a poll.
Yeah, well,
Survey,
you know
survey.
how Dave had us hit 1, 2, 3, or 4, and it took the votes. Why can't
Yeah,
that, so that to see how many people are for it? That's right, voting yes or no. And it yes. And if you get all the yeses, then I'd go forward with it. And because I know I'd buy several of the 3.5. And if we went to the 5s, I'd like a couple of 5s.
Put them on the back of the car, right? That's right. The big ones.
Yeah. Or even on my lathe, you know.
co-host, you don't vote. You can't vote and don't hit end poll.
I knew that was gonna happen when you stuck it up there.
Yeah, I know, really. But
Okay.
you know, ain't stuck
We-
up
we-
there. It's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we're going to talk about this a little bit more. I tell you what, I will generate a poll that we put up next week, and
There's
we'll
one
put it
up
up
there now.
There's one
Already
up there
generated.
now.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't see that because I can't see it on my co-host screen.
So can we use that right now to vote?
Yes.
I
Unless
just
you're
voted.
co-host.
Where you at?
Unless
I
you're
just
a
voted.
co-host.
Co-host,
Unless
I say
you're
if
a
you vote-
co-host, you can't vote.
If you vote yes, make sure you committed to buy them, not just voting for them.
Yeah, I agree with you, Billy.
There's no
Yeah.
quantity though.
Yeah, but co-hosts cannot vote.
And do not hit
We're gonna
end
buy
poll.
we're gonna buy 1,000.
Yeah. See, I run on 2 computers. I have my
You can only vote
iPad
once,
sitting
Carol.
here,
I had
and
to
that's where I
restart
can
the
vote.
poll.
Eddie's got a wooden
All right.
computer. Does that thing got vacuum tubes in it, Eddie, or what? man?
It was skipping. Hold on. That house, it cleared up now. Remember your dad telling you, go ahead, hit the TV on the left side once or twice. It was
We've got
stopped.
81. We got 81 participants and 35 people voted.
Oh, well, it looks like it's going to go well. And we'll give you a little time. I mean, if you don't want it, put it in there. We want both ways, okay?
One
And it's
person
not,
said no.
yeah. So it's not something that, who just said
Well,
that?
keep
Don
in mind
Masterson.
that keep in mind that every yes vote might include more than one sticker. So
Yeah, because Donald Masterson in Australia said he'd like 10 of them.
He's gonna put one of them on his forehead.
Gerald Jensen said he voted twice.
Good for
No, he
him.
only voted once. I had to restart the poll because somebody ended it as a co-host.
Yeah, I lost the ability to vote. Could we put that back up somehow?
I still see it.
If
It's
you
gone from my
voted,
screen.
I see it too. I just don't know what we're
That's-
voting for.
It's because you already voted.
Yeah, if you hit submit, it should disappear.
I don't
Yeah.
have a submit. I don't have a submit button.
What are we
You're a
voting for?
co-host, aren't you?
The only button I have is an end poll button, and I know what that does.
If you're co-hosting, you're gonna have to buy 20. All co-hosts got to buy 20.
Yeah.
Matt, you're a co-host. You can't vote.
I'm
Ah,
good for that.
dang.
They haven't made me a co-host yet, so I voted.
No, if you're a co-host, we already got you, and you got your vote. We already got your vote.
Billy Burt wants to know what we're voting for. Wait, Billy.
Chili. We're voting for chili.
I had to
I think we're
take a
voting
break.
for.
Sorry.
Would you buy a sticker? I think that's the vote.
Yeah.
Would I buy a sticker? At least one, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, actually, I thought we were voting to say yes, we want the club to pursue getting these stickers because we want them.
That
Yeah,
is what
we're voting
yes,
on.
Same
yes
thing.
and yes.
yeah,
Yes, that's what we're voting
Yeah.
on.
yeah. 1,000 times yes.
And then we're gonna look at it
See
Oh,
what
Billy
we
wants
get.
1,000 of them.
I heard that, Brenda. Did you hear that?
I heard him.
All right. Dave Edwards says he wants 10 and 10. 3 to 10, 3 to 10 of the 3 and 10 of the 5. We're going to work this out, folks. We are. Seems to be a lot of momentum on this, but a condition on this. There will be no profit left over when this is done. None whatsoever. No gains, nothing. There will be a complete financial totaling for it. We'll do it every week if you choose, but there's nobody going to say, we've already said there's no money changes in this club. And I looked at a couple of people that said, well, I can make them and I can mail them, but the prices were way out of whack, and I left it alone. And then again, there was nothing really guaranteed. We're going to pursue it. We are. But depending on tonight's vote, if you can still see the poll, you can vote. If you have a co-host, you don't see the vote. That's just how it is. All right, it's time for us to get safe tonight before we do our demonstration. I think Brenda is going to be our demonstrator tonight.
Nope.
Pardon?
What?
That was
Nope.
good, Brett.
Dane
Why
double
not?
booked this. Dane double booked this. There's somebody else.
Oh,
Yeah, so tonight's demo is going to be with Joaquin.
Joaquin. All right, I'm okay with that. So
Yeah.
Sue, give us a Joaquin safety trip.
So Sue, are you going to do a safety thing?
Yeah, I sure am.
Alrighty.
First, I want to know what Billy Burke's T-shirt says.
it says,
I
I'm
would
not
too.
here.
What's it say?
I'm not here. Leave a message.
I like it. There was a couple of things that I wanted to talk about, and one is we talk about a lot, and that's a face shield. I was perusing YouTube, and the one lady who turns, I don't remember her name, but evidently she's a person, I would say, that's maybe in her 60s, maybe 50s, and she said, if you're a person that has never watched my YouTube channel, you need to watch this now. So I said, okay, I'll watch it. And
I saw that.
she
Saw
did.
that,
You see
yeah.
it? Yeah, where she had, and please tell me I'm not sure about the whole story. She was making something, and she figured there was something she needed to do to the base. It would only take her a few seconds, and she didn't bother to put on her face shield.
Got on the vacuum chuck.
Yes, and
Turning at 1900 RPMs.
yeah, and it flew off.
All kinds of goofy
face.
stuff going on.
And she didn't go to the hospital. She should have, because she didn't have symptoms of a concussion, but she was already bruising with her black eyes. Her head was all swollen, and it's only for just a second. I don't care if it's for a millisecond. Put the face shield on.
Yeah.
Glasses are not good enough. And another thing I want to
Oh
talk
my
about,
God.
because I got a new toy today.
Oh,
Well, I bought myself a Fortress 2-gallon compressor, which is all I need for the for my shop for the lathe. But it goes up to 135 psi. And my grandson helped me with it because there's no way I was going to pick it up. And he was dying to hear how quiet it was. Well, it's the Fortress ultra quiet compressor. And he plugged it in the living room and went to the back bedroom. He says, I can't hear it back there. It's that quiet, guys. I had watched several YouTube things on it and thought, oh, that would be perfect for the Florida room that I have it in. And, you know, this is from our favorite cheap store, Harbor. It's everybody gave it a 5-star, and I gotta tell you, the one that I got in the mail had broken motor mounts. So yeah, we just took it up there and switched it out. But I'm happy with it. So let's talk about our hearing. and I know I've mentioned the hearing before, but we're all getting older and we're all saying, hey.
I beg your pardon?
Yeah, it's like, please, exactly. And we need hearing protection, folks. Plugs, whatever, you want something that's rated around 28, 29 decibels. You need to protect your hearing. If you get one that's 32 decibels, that'd be the best, but just protect our hearing, protect our face, and be safe out there this week. Have a good week.
Thank you, Sue.
Thank you,
Very
Sue.
much appreciated.
Thank you, sir.
Sue is our volunteer safety director. We have a lot of people that are members with this club that become co-hosts to help us out, that work with us to help certain things happen. I mean, each week, this would not happen if these co-hosts were not here. It wouldn't happen. There's no way, I don't believe there's any way, that one person can function with this entire thing. I
Could
tried,
I
but
add
that's why we
something?
started co-host. So say again.
Could I add something?
Sure.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
Dane.
Sue, I
Yeah,
love people that
there's an
say-
app you can get on your phone, and it tells you the decibel that you're listening to in your room. Because
Really?
I have it on mine, and I use it off and on. So
Will you
I know
put that
how
in-
loud things are.
Will you put the name of that app in our chat, please?
Yeah, I'll look it up again.
All right.
Bob Grimson's already found,
What's that?
I think Bob's already found it. He put something in chat.
He put
Oh.
your compressor in chat.
No, that was your compressor.
Yeah, well, what I bought was the Bob Grimson. Thanks, Bob. I've got the two gallon. So I guess
Okay.
I'm copying Birdhouse Bob.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I got to thank Dan for the input on that, and hopefully we'll get that put into our chat. And that's the chat. You're new with us or you don't realize that the chat is free. And I say free, it's that we don't try to control what goes into the chat. It wouldn't, it's not what we're about. We're about sharing information. We're very careful about promotions dealing with specific brands and people like, you can't live without this and you can't do this without that. That's how we were formed. But if you have something coming up, if you have an event coming up, put it in chat. Dave Rhodes takes that and puts in our event calendar on our website. If you've got a function coming like an IRD, I mean, Scott and Kate and a few others do that, put the information in the chat right there, and we'll all see it before you leave tonight. Save the chat. But what we want to do is kind of get you involved in being part of the club. That's where I was heading. That's the road I wanted to go down. If you've got anything at all, an article, a photograph, a detail, a sketch, whatever, we want it. And if you send it to our website, Dave Rose has got it. Once Dave gets hold of it, he ain't letting go. And that's what we'll do. Right now, I'm going to remind all y'all, we have a demonstration coming up in just a few moments. This demonstration is by one of our members. We have not paid for this. We do ask that you hold back on your comments or corrections on a demonstrator until he completes, and he'll take a Q&A. And of course, if you've got something similar or you have another idea to do a future or follow-up demonstration, jump on board. That's what we have to do. Right now, I'm going to do a mute all. And if Joaquin is available, he's going to unmute himself to come in, because right now I've got it on mute all.
I'm here.
Joaquin's here, and
Yes,
I'm going to drop out. Joaquin, say it again.
Hi.
There he
we are.
is.
All right. So I was making a 4-axis column or stem for this wine goblet. And you can, let me see if I can get a little better light on here so you can see the facets. And Brad of Brad's Workbench was watching me live and said, hey, can you do that and make a pen? And so, of course, I wasn't going to back down to the challenge with a live audience. And I said, yes. So I did. So what I'm going to do is talk you through the steps I used to make a 4-axis pen. Now, this is obviously a little bit big, but if you have a 4-axis twist multi-turning and it's small enough, you can feel that your fingers, as you hold a pen, fit the 4 axes, the 3 facets. It feels really good. And nobody expected that in myself, Brad, nobody expected that you picked it up and it felt really good. And what's really cool is it's always going to twist counterclockwise, but it feels good left or right-handed. So I found that to be very interesting. So this was just a proof of concept. I was just goofing around. So I started racking my brain about how I was going to make that smaller. And my first idea was, this was a mandrel I made for a rotary device for my laser. And I have a second wheel. I'm not sure where it is, but I thought, well, I'll put the pen on the mandrel and put my axes on the wide part. But, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but the further out from the center you get your axes, the more radical your twist is.
Yeah,
And
that's correct. That's correct.
okay, yeah. So
Yep.
with a pen, if that gets too wild, you're not going to be able to actually make a pen out of it. So that was a thought, and I kind of sat and worked through it and said, no, that's not going to work. So my next thought was, well, is there any reason I can't just do the layout on a pen blank?
No.
And the answer is no, it's just smaller. It's just smaller. So if you're not familiar with multi-axis layout, at least 4-axis, you can actually do this at any multiple of 6, because we have 360 degrees in a circle, and you're dividing by the radius of the circle. So let me explain that real quick. So layout of 4-axis anything, you make a circle and you take the radius of that circle, and you use your dividers, and you walk around. You just walk around the circle with the width of the dividers. I had a pen taped on there, so it's not quite the same. But you walk around the circle with the dividers, and you get 6 even divisions. And then you can even divide those further, and you can get 12, and it multiples of 6. So if you want 4-axis, you're just going to use, and that's a little off because my pen slipped. You're just going to use 1, 3, and 5. Okay. You're going to use 1, 3, and 5. So if you do this and you just line up 1, 3, and 5, and you use those axes, you'll get a triangular piece. If you want the twist, you have to go 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and 3 to 1. Billy was talking about that a couple of weeks ago, about a month ago. Okay. So when we do this to get the twist, we have to alternate axes, and there's a trick that lets you do it without skipping to the wrong one and getting a little getting it crazy. So some tools you need dividers. These are Harbor Freight, everybody's favorite cheap tool place. It's helpful to have a good vernier caliper. I use, these were both given to me, and I have an actual down to the thousandths with the dial. And this is probably the better to use, but if you can just get one that gives you thousandths, no, hundredths, thousandths. You get one that gives you divisions of thousandths, you can do this. So again, in thought and thinking about it and planning about it, the other thing you need is to know what pen kit you're using. And you need to open up your instructions on your pen kit. And go to the sizes, and this works best if you're using a pen kit that has the same widths on the bushings or very close. But you need to go to the bushings here. So I've got 0.393 and 0.410. And you need to decide which one of those is going to be the diameter of your circle. So I'm going to go with the bigger one. It's a little bit, just because it's just a little bit bigger, so it's a tiny bit easier. So I'm going to set my caliper to 0.205. I want half of that, the radius, half of that diameter. So I go 205 thousandths. And then when you make a circle like that, that's really, really tight. So I'm going to think about the size of my hand, and I'm going to think about the, well, that wasn't 205. Hang on a second. That was millimeters. There we go. That's better. 205. Okay. So that's a little better. So that's the radius of my circle. So I'm going to set that in my center, find the center, be confident of center, and I'm going to just use my caliper, or you can use your, well, the dividers come in a minute. Use my caliper, and I'm going to set that circle in that radius. Now that's really small. It's very, very tight, very close. So again, thinking about, a lot of us make pens that have a little bit of a swell. So thinking about it and thinking about the fact that I'm going to be doing multiple axes and how multiple axes cut. If you want a straight axis, you cut in to get the side straight. You actually try to cut deeper in the middle than you do on the ends. So if you want to get a little bit of a bulge, you cut a little shallower. So I'm sitting and thinking through this and thinking through how I'm going to make this smaller. And I came to the conclusion that if I added about 1/3 again, the width of this, of the diameter of my bushings, that would give me just enough space on the blank to find a kind of a balance where I didn't end up just going through the pen or going through the shaft, because we're working the small diameter. One thing you cannot do, at least I haven't figured it out yet, is drill your pen blank and cut it to length before you make your axes, before you do your turning. So as you're getting close to being finished, you need to remember to put a tenon on one end. And then what I did was I picked a length of the piece that just felt like that looked like about right. I made sure that it fit the tube. So you need your tube, it was the right length for the tube. And so I cut off a little on the end that didn't have the tenon, put it in my chuck, and then drilled it and made sure I just over drilled it. And then I cut it to length and square the ends, glue the tube then, and then put it between centers and turn down to your bushings. Now these take a while. So I'm going to show you how to just do the multi-axes, mount it in the chuck, and drill it. We've all made pens, I hope. If we haven't, we can get into that, but we'll be here till midnight. So the first thing, of course, when you start is get it round. If you have a center that's sharper than a 60-degree center, it helps. And I really have found, because I played with a four tooth center, and mine's 1 inch. It's just too big. So the small step center is really works well. The only tool you need, aside from a good supply of sandpaper for this, is your spindle roughing gouge. This is some Bradford pear. I didn't even realize I had until I started turning it. The pen I made for Brad was maple. Maple took this technique very, very well. So you want to turn your blank as wide as possible. You want as much space as possible because we're going to be taking our centers to eccentricity. And when it's eccentric, the drive centers are going to be closer to the edge of the wood. So the more meat you have out there, the less chance you have of blowing out your blank. Almost. All right, we're pretty close to round. We're close enough we can continue. So again, I'm going to make my my diameter a tiny bit bigger so that we do see that there's a twist, but I'm going to keep very close to that range. So this is going to be my circle. And this is the frustrating part, especially when you start getting arthritic, is doing this accurately.
We have Brenda on hand in case you need a Band-Aid.
Okay. Could happen.
They make they make some fairly inexpensive compasses that work pretty good. So you're not doing it with the
caliper.
Yeah, with the calipers.
Yeah.
But the dividers will work too. Yeah.
Yeah, these dividers do okay. The only thing I don't like about these dividers is they don't lock. There's no way to lock them.
Right.
So if you're not paying attention,
they'll spread themselves.
Yeah,
they won't stay circular.
Yeah.
That's what I like about using a compass is you're drawing a line and it stays in position better.
Yeah. So you just make your 6 points or you make your 6 steps and you drive in your point every other step. So those are your axes, and this is very important. Number them. Inside, 1, 2, and it doesn't matter if you go right to left or left to right, clockwise or counterclockwise, it doesn't matter, but put numbers in there so that you can match your axes as you move around. You can put it in your drive center and make your little dents a little bit bigger.
I use a spring-loaded punch to make those dents.
Yeah, I don't have one. I made myself an awl with a 16 penny nail. It's just too
There
big.
you go.
It's just really big, so it's fat. So this little drive center I have works really well for me. If you use what you have. If you really want to get into it, you can just dig the point of the dividers in there. So when we do this, I almost forgot the important part. This is the trick. So you find your number 1, whichever axis you numbered as number 1, and bring a line out and mark it. Go back between centers. Find that line. Bring your tool rest up and line it up with that line and use your tool rest as a straight edge and bring that first axis over. So that is going to be the number 1 on this side.
Is that the
One.
same point as the number one on the other side?
Yes, so what I just did was I took number one here and I translated it to the other end. Now, they go 1, 2, 3 clockwise here, but here they're going to go 1, 2, 3, and it's counterclockwise on the other end. So again, every other spot. And this distance is the radius of your circle. That gives you an even division. That's important. So 1 to 1, 2 to 2. Oh, I better mark that as 1. Which only leaves 3. Now we're working, this is a pen. We are working tiny. So if you have horrible handwriting like me and big clubs for hands, this is a real challenge. So here's how we make this work. We start with 1. For me, for my brain, I always start with 1 on the drive center. And we go to 2 on the tail center. Hang on, I can't see. There it is. Helps if you lock your tailstock. Now you want to hold this tight because you are now not turning in a straight line. You are turning eccentric. But you really don't want, and especially if it's something soft like this Bradford pear, you don't want to drive it in. That will cause issues. Now, safety. Every time you turn eccentric, turn it by hand first and make sure that you're not going to hit your tool rest. You hit the tool rest, especially with the step center, it's going to pop right off and shoot whatever direction it feels like. So in my experience, in order to get a little bit of a ball shape, of a bulbous shape, and you know, a little wider in the middle, rather than coming from the ends and turning and moving downhill like I want it straight, I start in the middle and move out. And I cannot pass the line on the end, the circle. That's my drop dead line. I can't turn it thinner than that. And the reason I can't turn it thinner than that is when I start switching axes, I lose my reference and I don't have a thick enough side to put my center in. But here you can see we've started to get a nice twist here, and I have half again the width. So you're going to take a couple passes, stop, check where you're at, go the other way. Gotta love that step center. It's actually useful that it does that when you're on multi-axes. So stop and make sure you don't hit that circle because you're shaving away towards the circle. And I have a nice twist here. I'm a little higher here, so I'm going to take a little more out there. All right, and I could take this down some more. You have to do this a little bit at a time. Because you are not turning a straight piece of wood. And if you want to jam it in there and really take some off of it, you're going to persuade it to leave its little home between centers. Now it's starting to look like it's just about where I want it to be. We're almost there. Very, very close. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Now, to sand this, it's very, very unsafe to try to hold your hand up when you're hitting one little spot in air. So I hate to tell you this, but the best way to sand this is by hand. I'm showing you the method. I don't think any of us don't know how to sand, so I don't want to bore you by sanding because I want to teach you how to get your axes lined up. I hope that's all right.
Totally fine.
Okay. So we went from 1 to 2, and for me, sometimes it helps. I wrote it down: 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 1. So going to loosen. And once we take this off of between centers, you're never really going to be able to address that surface again. So
Joaquin, have you tried power sanding it?
I have. I was very unpleased. I was not pleased with the results. The cool thing about hand sanding it is you just go with the grain.
True.
And it actually goes really fast. You can go. The piece of maple that I turned was really soft, so it actually was softer than the piece Bradford pear because it was heavily spalted. So I had a lot of tear out. So I had to start at 80, and I was done sanding each facet in less than 5 minutes. About 6 or 7 passes from left to right, and you could step up to the next grit. It did sand really fast. Okay, so I started here at 1. So I'm going to put 2. Make sure you can read your writing, because I know you can't read mine. To 3.
Be a good idea to color code it instead of numbering it.
Yeah, that is a good way. All right, so you want to make sure now. See how this is why you can't make your circle too big, because look how close to the edge. If I really drive this in, I'm going to split this out. So be very aware of that. And I'm already starting to see a crack. So I think our good friend, Mr. Thin CA, is going to help ensure that that doesn't walk away from us. If I can get this lid off, this is the worst lid ever. There we go. So I just want to put that there to help encourage that crack not to complete. Again, we will be putting this back between centers. Really? Hang on a second.
I'm glad I've never taken mine too small.
Only in demos.
Yeah. Or in YouTube videos.
Right. Okay. So this end is actually going to end up getting, we're going to put it back between the original axis to centers and put the tenon on this end. So as long as I keep this from splitting, I'm not worried about CA staining or anything, because it's going away. This end is completely going to be eliminated.
We can't
So
see it
again,
anyhow.
right. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that better?
No, I meant we can't see the CA staining
Oh,
anyhow.
Right.
Oh, I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too light for the camera. I'm looking at it going, oh. All right, let me hit that with some.
Looks
Sun
good
Rays
from my
just-
house.
Just so that I make sure I don't get sprayed. Okay, again, turn it by hand, make sure you're clear. Okay. Because this is spindle, I'm running at 2,700 RPM. That would be a disaster. Now from here, looking at the shadow, I can see the width of my pen. Okay. So again, because of the shape I'm trying to achieve, I want to kind of start in the middle. And at this point, you can see that about how wide your pen's going to be, and you can start to see maybe where your smoothest area is. It's starting to take shape. Take a few passes, stop and check. Look at how close you're getting. So at this point, that's the original circle, and I have two facets. And it looks really cool, but I have like weird areas where it's the original circle. I'm not going to turn those away completely, but I need to look and see how close to that, because that's my drop dead line. And I'm getting there. So it's time to start taking some, I need to clean up over here, and then I need to make some very fine finishing passes. Now, I will admit I stacked the deck by giving myself a softer hardwood to do this. Be very timid with a harder species of wood. This can really be challenging. Okay, so we have two facets and it's beginning to look like something. Again, the best bet I've found is hand sanding it. It doesn't take long because we're going with the grain. So it really depends on how hard the wood is. So now, really, the only places we have left to mount it are 3 to 1 or the center. So I'm going to look for 3. And 1. And there is my 4th axis. So we have 1, the first axis being the centers, and then 3 additional that we laid out. And now it's almost pen thickness. So it doesn't seem like we're going to get down to pen thickness, but we actually are. And this is where we're going to get that beautiful twist shape. But do you see the difference in how radical it looks on the 3rd axis or 4th axis?
Like a bow tie.
Yep. And if you're using a stub center, you're going to have to cut light or it stops. So you really have to have a light touch. You can't just go dig it in there. Now, if you were doing something like ebony or blackwood, that's a much harder wood, you probably have a little more control of that. But some rascally old fellow named Mark Solero taught me to do the hard stuff with the softwood first, because if you can do it with the softwood, you can do it with anything. Okay, stop it and check it. Ah, yeah, we're doing pretty good. I have a little bit of a high spot right here I need to fix. That's not bad. Get that little high spot in the center. Okay, that is looking pretty good. Now, again, we're not sanding because we all know how to sand, but if you get a little bit of strangeness, which happens sometimes, you can smooth the sides down with the 80 grit bowl gouge and deal with any kind of little silliness. But sometimes it makes things more unique. So you go back to the center. And you have to very gingerly get a nice tenon here, because if you turn too much away, you're not gonna be able to fit it in your pin jaws. You don't want to take it down too much. But you definitely need to get enough that you have shoulders that you can kind of rest your jaws on and make sure you stay centered. So again, like I said earlier, this whole section here is waist, but this is where you have to now make a pen. Oh, that was the wrong hole. That was bad. Like Brenda was saying, it's just a minute. If you're putting on your pin jaws, always tighten your safety screw, whether you're just putting it on for a second, putting on another chuck, tighten your safety screw. It's just good practice, muscle memory. Okay, so you want to rest the shoulders, the little shoulders you left, on the edge of the jaw, and bring your live center up and make sure you're centered. Then bring out your Jacob's chuck, You got one? So if you only drill your pens on a drill press, you're gonna have a real hard time doing this. Because the only way that I figured out to do this was to put a tenon down here on one end and take it off. Can't remember what drill. Seven millimeter, well, no, 8 millimeter. All right, just a second. So at this point, as you're getting ready to drill, you want to take a look and just kind of think about, well, what section looks the best in here? Now, remember, we didn't sand because we've all seen sanding, but figure out which section looks the best. And it's probably the nicest up to this end. So I'm going to drill past that. So Stanley says I need to get in there at least 3.5 inches, and I definitely have enough space on my drill. And just take your time, because you're not dealing with a straight-sided piece of wood. You're dealing with something that's been cut in very weird shapes. Oops, I forgot to do something pretty vital. Don't do that. Also should have pulled that out if I could have. If that had been maple, that would have held on to that drill bit. Ah, good old Bradford pear. Didn't smell while I was cutting it, but boy, it smells while I'm drilling it. Got to the end of my short little mandrel, or short little quill. So remember, you want to drill past your depth, you've decided that you like X section of pen, drill past it. It's going to take me to just above the jaws of my Jacob's cup. So here, you're going to clog the flutes. So this last little bit, you really have to stop frequently and make sure you clear those flutes so that you're not just packing wood in there and heating it up. Okay, so we're drilled well past where we need to be. And again, you've got to do a little assessment of what part of the pen, what part of the body you feel is the best. And what I did, just because I didn't want to try to fish the tube down. So what I did, rather than kind of going in here and saying, well, okay, I'll push it really deep, is at this point, I took it, marked just a hair on either side of the section that I wanted with the tube's length here. And I just brought up my little dovetail saw, which is on my workbench, or this little one. This is a little Harbor Freight pull saw. This works really, really well. And I just hand cut it. Okay, and I see that I didn't quite drill deep enough. So let me double check again with my depth here. So I can't put it back between centers, but I do have a straight hole so I can stick my drill in there and get through the other side. Put it in a vise is probably the safe way, safest way to do that. But drill through the other side, glue your your tube in and square the ends the way you normally square the ends. It seems more complicated than it is. The hardest part is remembering 1 to 2, getting them lined up first, remembering 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 2 to 3, and 3 to 1. But that gives you a nice, I missed a spot in the middle. That's what happened. But it gives you a nice triangular shape that fits really good in your hands and looks weird, and people go, how did you do that? Any questions?
How do you get it to marry up with your hardware?
Okay, good question. So I've got my pen tube in there. It's glued in right. I've got my end squared. I just put it on the mandrel with the bushings and just turn down this little end, just the end. I forgot about that. Just turn down the end to the bushings, just like you normally would, and sand that little area, and that'll kind of round this over and smooth it. I wish I had another example of the finished pen to show you, but that rounds it out and it makes it all match. So this is going to end up always being a little bit bigger than the normal pen tube that you turn, but because it's shaped like that, look how your fingers just sit on it. It just rests. So I actually had lost the bushings for the pen that I put this on. So the other thing you can do is just get it between centers, and you know what the measurements are because you have the instructions, and just cut a little, but you're just going to turn down this. As long as it's not too steep, you're probably going to turn down about the maybe a quarter at the end, just to make sure that it meets the mandrel so that you don't have this edge here. And it actually looks good and it fits in your hand, which doesn't seem like it would, but it really does.
Right. Pretty cool.
All right.
Pretty
Any
cool.
other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Real nice.
So Jim Duxbury had a question. Jim, you want to ask him the question?
Uh-oh. If you get done turning that, going 1 to 2, 2 to 3, that gives you a right hand twist.
Mm-hmm.
If you start over again, leave it in a lathe and start over and turn it the same way. Instead of going 1 to 2, go to 1 to 3. Then you go 3 to 2, 2 to 1. That would give you a left hand twist. That should give you like a crosshatch pattern.
See, now I haven't been able to think that through because the lathe is turning towards you. It's turning counterclockwise the whole time.
Yeah, but you offset the other way around.
Yeah, I've not tried it. You know, it's worth sticking a tube, like a 2-inch piece of dowel in between centers and doing all the measurements and trying it.
Billy's
I don't
going to
know.
do it.
Cool, Billy. Actually,
Billy.
see, now you've asked the question, I'm gonna do it too, because now
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
curious. Can I do
I
that?
went through it too.
There's a whole
Hey,
bunch of
who
us gonna
wasn't
have
gonna
black
do it?
eyes and.
Jim, that'd be a good demo for you to do next week.
Never mind. I'm lazy. I'll show you what I do with a pen.
That's a good idea. I like that, though. That's a really good idea.
You think that would work on a pen blank though?
It might be
Maybe
even,
something bigger.
it might be even more interesting if you did the other way with the alternate points instead of 1, 2, and 3. You did the ones between there.
Well, yeah. Ooh. Yeah.
I can see that. I can see that. How that would be.
Okay, so here's my challenge, though. Here's the challenge I see in that is I can't write that small to number my axes.
Colored
I can
pencils.
barely get 3 in there.
Yeah, use colored Sharpies or something.
Yeah,
You're
just
gonna-
colored
you won't
Sharpies.
need that stuff on the end
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, that is a good idea. I hadn't thought of it. I can't remember who I watched. It wasn't Barbara Dill who I first watched make a multi-axis piece. I can't remember who it was, and they used the pencil. So my brain said, just write it with your pencil. That's why we have clubs like this, so we can get ideas from each other.
Yes.
I think I did an off-center demo about a year ago, and I was writing things with my pencil. So you may have got that from me.
Yeah, I don't know. It could have been Heather. It's 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and 3 to 4. That looks like it's backwards to me.
We're actually 3 to 1.
3 to 1.
3 to 1. I'm sorry, 3 to 1. Are you reading that correctly,
Take a
or is it my
screenshot.
No, it's right.
Yes.
Yeah, it's 1 to
Okay,
2.
yeah.
It says 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 1.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah. So that's to get a twist. If you just want a triangle, it's just 1 to 1, 2
1
to
to
2,
1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3.
Yeah, but you still have to translate the trick. Either way,
Right.
the hardest thing is remember to translate 1 all the way across, so that
And
your
that
ones
and that's the
match.
question. Will 1 to 3 instead of going 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 1, will 1 to 3, 2 to 1,
Yes, it
3
will
to 2
give you the
actually give you the opposite
Yeah, it's
twist?
gotta,
Yes, it will.
has to, yeah.
It almost
Will
have
it?
to.
It'd be better in a
I'm
vase
gonna-
or something bigger, probably.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think you
box
could
or
do that
something,
on
yeah.
a pen
Yeah.
because you don't have enough real estate for
Yeah.
the centers.
Yeah.
But say a box or like a 2-inch dowel that you're going to turn down, this stem that I just thought, well, what if I could do this? This was just a branch off of the black locust that fell down right behind my house, and so I just grabbed that branch and it was about 2 inches, and I was like, hey, let's do some multi-axis, and I came up with this and thought that's really thin, and then Brad was like, can you do that with a pen? And stupidly, I was like, yeah, sure. And then I had to do it.
Make sure you
and-
finish that goblet because I love black locust and I'd like to see it.
Oh, well, it's nearly done. I just don't have, when I mounted the, so this is spalted hickory and my little foot is spalted hickory. And when I got the foot on there, it didn't glue straight. So I have a little bit of, well, with the twist, you can't really tell that it's not straight up and down.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Looks
Yeah.
looks really good.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get some I can put some finish on it. I'll try to bring it back next week with some finish on it.
I do. I love how black locust goes all black and
Oh,
gold. It's just amazing.
yeah, it's just the colors. And if you hit it with a black light, it glows in the dark.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's kind of fun.
Some of my black locust has had some green in it too.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I have a block of black locust from a log that's been down for 10 or 15 years. And it's not dry because it's been on the ground, but it's cured. So it is as hard as a brick.
Yeah, it's
Boy,
green.
is it pretty. It's pretty. But turning it is like turning a brick.
Thank you, Joaquin. That was a very good demonstration, sir. We very much
Yes.
appreciate it.
Excellent.
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Great,
very
yeah.
nice.
A lot of
Now-
ideas going
Good
around
job,
now.
Joaquin.
Sure. Now, the right hand twist, left hand twist, if Jim Duxbury's got his pieces around, he showed us a couple of weeks ago a right hand and a left hand box. And what he just said on the mat, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Well, you just, as a shift, you shift the other way, and you'll shift it from right hand twist to left hand twist. It all makes interesting work. Now, if you want to practice that spinning, let's go to a larger piece of wood, and just to practice the twist. Go to a larger piece of wood and put it on there. Maybe chunky wood. Don't throw it away because you don't like it when you get done. But just get in there and practice. And he was talking about a scribe. A couple of us jumped in on the scribe. When I used to hang drywall a long time ago, we had a scribe I kept in my tool bag right next to scribe off something. I put a link on Amazon, and they had a little scribe that uses a pencil, and you can tighten up the setting on it. Works like a charm. I used to know for sure I've had a half a dozen of them back in the shop. That's, can't go looking for it anymore. Oh, by the way, I'm down to just a slab. Tommy came in and we only have a slab left because we had to get rid of that junky thing and complaints from regulatory. All right, we're going to go back to it, but wait. I want to change something right here. Well, I did it. I'm going to spotlight this. And I'm going to show you something I showed the members earlier this evening. And this is what we're looking. Come on, share up. All right. We're talking about making some club decals. Now, we had a poll out tonight, and we're asking them if you're interested, not how much money you pay or anything else. We're still looking at proposals for stickers. And we're going to have something similar to the artwork we have here. We have that artwork done, except it's going to close out to say worldwidewoodturners.org. And we'll pursue this. I want to fund it up front. And if you want it, you will pay exactly what it cost us to buy them and mail them to you. Exactly. And that's it. There's no slush fund for it to go or anything else. It's just that folks have asked us, how can we promote ourselves and get new members? Just tell somebody to join. We're at 90 members right now, and there's room for a whole lot more. I mean, look, tailgate ain't even full. So we got plenty of room for you. If you want to be involved in operation of this club and what we do here, we want you involved. And there's no hierarchy. And I'm not kidding you. Every member votes the same. All right, we're going to go back to gallery. If you got something to show in gallery this evening, just put it in the chat over there. Dane Channel will go through the chat and find you and pop you up on there. And we'll take a look at the work you turned out. And remember, we have a no but guarantee. No but guarantee. You can look at the gallery all you want. You can take a look at all the pieces turned, but you're going to say, I like that button. That button can't come out. No, there's no button. And I really want to see what you turn. So you got to get it and show it to us. Who do we have any? Oh, I think we got some. There he is, Charlie Bundy. I knew he was out there.
Hello, Charlie.
I was making bird houses.
No way. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's cute.
I
Wow.
like that. The body is maple. The dome is diamond willow. And I'm not sure what the bottom piece is.
Nice. Of course, he made more than one.
Oh yeah, I made lots of them.
That one almost looks
Dome
like a
on that
honey
is
dipper on the bottom.
spalted maple. And I think it's box elder in the middle. And
Back it up.
maple on the bottom.
Yeah.
There you go.
And the bottom of it looks like a honey dipper.
Yep.
The
That's
top of
right.
it looks like a honeycomb too.
That it's making like a beehive in the body of it.
And a
Yep.
beehive, yeah. Very
What's,
nice.
do you sell those? And if so, what's your price point?
I haven't, I intend on trying, but I haven't sold any yet. They disappear
Okay.
on me. People like them.
Wife gets them.
I figured about $30 to $35 in this area.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Uh-huh.
The dome again is diamond willow, and I don't, the oak on the finial, but I don't know what the body is. These are the pieces that lay on the floor, the cutoff ends.
Yeah.
Those are
There's
nice.
no such thing as scrap wood, just wood you haven't turned yet.
That's
Yep.
right.
Yep. Very
If
nice.
you look, if I could turn my computer around and show you behind me, there's 30 some birdhouses hanging off the end of my shelf.
Oh, we've
my
created
goodness.
a monster.
Yep.
All your fault, Bob.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Blame it on Bob. Thank you,
Now,
Charlie.
this week I'm gonna start making gnomes.
Uh-oh.
No, all right.
Yeah.
You
Watch
going
out.
over to the dark side?
Well,
Speaking about birdhouses,
Well,
it takes, it's
I got one that I made
it
here.
takes me how to use the skew and others.
Got one that I made here out of ash, and I used lineman wax on it, and then deer antler and ebony.
You're an awful lot of deer antlers, aren't you, Bob?
Pretty.
Yeah, and then I've got a couple natural edge bows I made. I finished up this week. This was a piece of elm.
That's nice.
Very nice.
Had a
Well,
few bugs in it.
I love the wormholes.
Love
They
it.
just
This was a
add
piece
character.
that,
I don't care what anybody says.
Me too.
This is my Weight Watcher cereal bowl. Got a hole in the bottom. But I lost
Love
the bark
it.
on this one, so I burnt the edge with a wood burner.
Nice. Oh my God, that's gorgeous.
Got some beautiful figure in it.
And it's got some holes in the side so you can see what's in it.
Or what was in it? Oh my goodness.
And
That's what you got this week, Bob?
Good stuff, Bob.
All right. Thank you, Birdhouse Bob.
Nice, Bob.
Thank you. Well, thank y'all for looking.
oh,
All
yeah,
righty.
no problem.
Like to see what you turn really do. Bring it on out and show us, even if it's old turnings. We just say, you know what it does? It sparks the ideas, sparks the image. We saw what Joaquin did a little while ago with the twist. I know you're thinking, I don't want to do an ink pen. Think about the special things you can do with it that are unique. He did it on a cup. A lot of ways you can use the ideas. And if you've got one, you can make sure that you tell us an idea so we can get you lined up for it.
I think those
I've got
twists
a
would be
box I
pretty neat
did
on a
that way.
finial.
Wait,
I've got a
Bob.
box I did this way.
I think those
Who's got a
twists.
box? What, Bob?
I do.
I think those twists would be pretty neat on a finial.
They might. Yeah.
We're on a birdhouse.
Yeah.
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 Ooh.
I've got a lidded box I did it with.
You got it with you?
It's right here.
Well,
Oh,
Oh,
there
nice.
you go.
Yeah.
Oh my
Now
goodness.
that's challenging because you have to get a good tight lid fit
Yep.
or it just spins.
Yep.
But that's elm. And I just kind of cleaned off the bottom, but you can see the triangle. And I'm not sure how I managed to keep the grain match as good as I did,
Mhm.
but it did, because this was a challenge. This was 2 years ago. And can you see the point? Actually all three of my axes managed to stay as smooth as can be. I don't know how you can see that, because it's smooth. You can't feel it, but you can see them.
It's a bruise. Wood bruises. There's another
Yeah.
term for it, but wood
That's right.
bruises.
Yeah, and I guess I just didn't turn enough away for the little knob on top to remove the bruising. But boxes are really fun, but you have to have a good jam fit. If you don't have a good jam fit, you're just going to spin the lid and get angry and throw it on the floor 6 times like I did.
Who keeps track of those? How many times? Who keeps track?
I was being kind to myself. It was probably more like 12.
Thank you, Joaquin. Good program tonight, sir. Really
Thank you.
nice. A lot going on. If you want to show something in our gallery, put it in chat right now. That's how Dane finds you. And once he introduces you, start talking. The little picture on the side of the screen will pop up, and boom, we got you. And we'll take a look at it. I see we have a lot more of our regulars checking in tonight. Good to see you folks. And look, what we talked about challenges earlier, and we do have some challenges coming up. I want to pop these up real quick. These are our gallery challenges. Now, we don't call them challenges necessarily. They're a gallery challenge. It is a way for you to show your work. There's no prize. On March 15th, we're going to do gnomes for St. Patrick's Day. See, Charlie Bundy, you got until St. Patrick's Day to get that gnome done. And then Doug Miller did a couple of Easter eggs. He can be in a challenge on April 25th. I'm sorry, April 5th. On June 28th, just in time for July 4th, we're going to take back the country with our cannon demonstration. Show you to you there. Our freedom pens continue on and on and on and on. We don't stop the freedom pens. And the ornaments and jewelry would to be scheduled. We're going to work on that because that's another one of those demonstrations where we want more input from the members on how you would hold a set of earrings. We saw Daniel tonight with some rings that he did. A lot of work going into those rings and how to hold them and make them work out. And that's where, as Joaquin just said, he makes a lot of his tools. That's where you'd make that tool. You actually, if you don't have a chuck, you can create a mandrel and a pallet in order to turn that pen on a faceplate, on a wooden faceplate, exchangeable. It can happen. And if you don't have a force in a bit, you can happen. If you don't have this, it can happen. Remember, if you put limits on it, you'll never make it. You'll never make it. I'd like to see some of your ideas on jewelry. My dear wife has got bracelets, earrings, brooches, things like that. You should see the stuff I gave my girlfriend, and it is at the top of the line. But you see, my head didn't slap over, so she knows I'm joking. At least I hope she does. Okay, let's go back to gallery right now, folks. This is worldwidewoodturners.org. And Cade, I think we have a couple in Dane, I think we have a couple in a box.
Yeah, we do. How about that?
Talk about in a box. There he is.
Tim?
Hey, how's everybody doing this evening? Sorry I'm late. I had to go out and train the National Guard and long, stupid day. But had some good news. I went out to Rockler about, I guess 2 weeks ago now, and there was a down tree, one of them found on ground trees. So I think it's cherry by the coloration and the bark.
Back it
Now
up.
it's got it has anchor seal on it, but really pretty wood. And since I was down from surgery and everything, I didn't get a chance to do that crotch bowl. So there it is. There's a crotch bowl.
Nice.
About a 1/16 of an inch thick.
That's nice.
When I did the finish with Parfex, I hit the edge right here and I dribbled. So I've got to sand all the bottom back. I'm not happy with the bottom, but nice finish. And it was turned green and then thrown in the microwave for about 30 seconds to 50% power. Brought it out. It was smoking hot for a little bit. Put it back in. You can see that little divot nipple sticking up in the bottom there. Well, that's because it wasn't completely dry, but it's just one of those things. But
What kind of wood is that?
My granddaughter helped me process everything on the table there. So those are all crotch pieces from the trees that we collected up there by Rockler. So free wood,
Nice.
good stuff.
Yes. What kind of wood was that?
I think it's a cherry, but I'm not sure. I think it's like a black cherry. You know, it's one of the trees they had in the parking lot, little decorative tree up there at the in between Rockler and Sam's Club up in Round Rock for folks. that know
Did you see any pitch pockets in it?
I'm sorry.
Did you see any pitch pockets in it?
I haven't hit any pitch pockets. Of course, this is the only bowl I've turned out of it yet. So if it's not cherry, I'm confused as to what it is. So maybe someone else has a better idea. Here's a piece that's not a crotch piece. Maybe you can tell by the bark.
Call it one.
Yeah, it looks like bark.
Know the difference.
That's probably gonna be a natural edge bowl or something here when I get a chance. They've got me, since I'm recovered from surgery now, they've got me working like a dog to make up for all lost time. So, but that's all I got. Hey, sorry I'm late. You know, training takes priority. So
Yeah, it's all right.
Welcome back, Tim. Glad you're
Good
back.
to see you.
all right, thank
All
you.
right,
Yeah, good seeing you, buddy.
let's float over and see what Jim's got going on.
There he is.
Tim?
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to show this, but I will tonight. I turned pens, but they're triangular on the end, straight triangles,
Right.
so you can hold them real easy.
Cool.
Just, I turn a lot of pens. I don't like doing it, but people love. Let me click. I finally figured out how to do a video, I think. And that better come up.
It did.
Okay. I messed up now I can go from there to the next one. This is a cherry bowl. It's 10 by 10, about 2.5 inches deep. This is the top. This is the bottom. And when you flip it over,
Oh my
comes an
goodness.
oval bowl. And when you flip it back, it becomes a serpentine bowl.
Uh-huh.
That is too cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's like a transformer.
To fit better for a lot of demos. It used to fit good.
Did you do that with a scroll saw?
Yeah, no, bandsaw.
Oh, bandsaw.
Yeah. You want to see it?
Too cool.
Okay. Let's see if the next one will work. Well, these are, I don't know how these are. Wooden gears. Wooden gears can be drawn by hand, but computer programs now draw them much faster. Once you get this thing drawn on a computer, you print it out. Printers have a way of expanding and contracting things, and sometimes they print out a little bit oval. When two ovals come together, they don't work so well. So before you do this, you find your center, turn the outside to the dimension you want, and swing an arc, a minor arc on the inside, so that when you cut these, you can cut it to the pattern or the drawing, but make sure you've got the OD and the ID circular so that they work nice. These are 2 for 1. This is a 9-tooth, this is 18-tooth. I use them for all kinds of things. If they fit precision, they don't make any noise. They're pretty silent. If you leave a little slop in here, as one leaves the other one, there's a little slippage in there, and it makes a click. And in some cases, I like gears that click. So I space this out a little bit so that you get clicking. Lots of fun. Everybody knows square gears don't work. And unless you're real strong. But if you do it right, square gears actually work.
Crazy.
This is kind of a crude set of square gears. These are done by eye on a scroll saw like the other. But actually it would have some use. At this point, this radius here is longer than that. So this would be fast. This would push this faster. At this point, the radius is shorter and this is longer. So this would give more torque. This is shorter on the drive side and longer on this side. So it would give more torque. So if you had an assembly line somewhere that needed a little bit of torque, a little bit more torque to punch something or move something or whatever, it might come in handy. You can make gears in all different shapes and sizes. Just no end to the fun. Oh. This is my version of a timepiece used in a Leonardo da Vinci clock back in the 1400s. It's the best they had in those days, but it doesn't keep time worth a hoot. Just fun to watch. This is what they used before they knew the virtues of a pendulum. There's weights down here. The little weight just keeps tension on the wheel here. This is lamp cord of some kind. And the bigger weight, that actually makes things go. These are 8 to 32, I think, gears here. I just guessed at the gears, and everything's a guess on here. But the clocks they had in those days only had an hour hand on them. Actually, in those days, nobody knew what 10 o'clock was anyway, because you didn't have a watch and there's no clock. So, it didn't. This was the first attempt to make a clock. But like I said, it doesn't work very well, but it's fun to watch. The next one. Oh, these are 4-inch cherry balls trimmed with wengi on a wengi and cherry race. They're perfectly turned, all the same size. And the race is turned so that there's a spacing between the bottom 3 balls that allows them to rotate freely and not interfere with each other. Really works. If the balls touch, they'll have a ball. Anyway, and I also don't own a sphere jig. Those are turned by eye. I think that's the end of it. That's it for me.
Thank you, Jim.
Very
Beautiful
cool,
work.
Jim.
You've got a message in a chat that you may want to take a look at. Thank you, sir. Great seeing you tonight. Great ideas. Oh, I love the work he turns out. Really
Yeah.
great.
Really great. You're right.
Really great. Okay. We're doing some gallery right now. We have some folks that said they got some special things to show and such. And in the chat, I asked them, can you please get an example of it? They want to chat about it a little bit. We're going to do that. All we have to do is get you involved. And it's just that simple. Dane's back. He went out to give the cat a shot. Everything okay with the kitty?
Yeah, he's doing well. He's putting his weight back on, and the insulin is doing wonders for him.
Good.
Good. That's good.
I don't, you folks that may or may not follow Facebook, seen that Kim might be about this close or that close to moving into her new house. But what I see is what I've always thought about on some home builders. It's just, it's terrible. I'm glad she's watching it closely and can get it fixed up. She needs to get in that house. She really does. Well, really, she needs to get in her shop. That's what she needs. We have a few comments on the chat tonight. Don't forget, if you have something that's coming up, an event, IRD or whatever, put it in the chat. And that's where you can, and you save the chat before you leave. That's what Donald Masters that tells us all. Save the chat. I put a promo out this week, but it got kicked back because the music, and I used music that came with the program. They said it was copyrighted. So I'm going to reproduce that promo again and get it back out there. We do that to show off your work, and I can only show off your work if you show it to me. If you send me the photograph of your work to worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com, that hard, that's simple. worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com, then I'll get the photograph and I'll be able to use it in promos. I use it in new newsletters. I send them on to Dave Rhodes for the website. And that's where you'll find all the information that we generate at Worldwide Woodturners. Everything we do is out in the front, easy to find, not secluded. We don't have to pay a membership fee. Oh, wait, maybe we'll double the fees next year. But we don't do that because this is all about sharing information. Boy, somebody said tonight, can Jim Duxbury, he's still here, can he draw out those square gears? Because somebody wants to make a set of square, there at the clocks or gears. So we'll get that out to you. We'll get that worked out.
Good luck.
Is that Billy Burt back in for us? Nope. Okay, popping in and
He
out.
was just sighing. I think he was just sighing.
Sorry.
With that sighing,
I
Billy.
think he's breathing.
No, yeah, well, in a little bit of pain. I disassembled a piano today.
Oh, my goodness.
You get the wood, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it looks like some of it's some pretty curly maple. I've seen at least one piece that's got some bird's eye. So I don't know. It's all covered with black something or another, and I got to strip off and see what I'm dealing with.
Okay. Sometimes it's interesting. I have in the past stopped and picked up broken furniture on the street because it looked like something pretty. And it turned out to be nice. It made great bottle stoppers and pens and stuff from chair legs. What I look at real close is it that
MDF.
not MDF, when they
Fiberboard.
Particle board.
Particle board.
no, one more time. It's
Melanine.
bamboo, and they spray the color on it, and it's I can't remember. They got one in the mall that sells all that beautiful furniture. My wife loves to go around there because they're all really unique, and they're all just bamboo or something real cheap with a sprayed finish on them. You get that, know what you get.
Yeah, this was made in 1936, so I'm sure it's pretty good wood.
Oh yeah. Don't worry about that. They didn't even know what compressed wood was then.
Yeah.
So,
Did you get the keys too, Billy? Did you get the keys?
I did. They are ebony.
Oh, cool.
They're not very big pieces of ebony, but they're ebony.
Oh, that's cool. Great little
The
finial.
white one's ivory.
And the ivory is about a 1/16 of an inch thick, veneered onto the keys.
Okay.
You take 16 of those laminates, you got an inch thick piece. So
Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
you probably won't have any
Travel through
fingerprints left from the
customs,
glue.
you'll go to jail.
Mhm.
You know, I've seen some pins that were turned, people that collected keyboards from old pianos and got that laminate ivory off, glued it up and made pins out of it. They were very pretty pins.
I bet.
Mm.
Yeah, I saw somebody do a there's we all done it, this design where you slice and you put it inlay and put it back together.
Celtic knot.
Sure, that's not, yes. And they've used pieces off of old pianos and stuff. The key is you have to have the exact same blade width or it kind of gets wampus a little bit. But that's fun to play with, laminated into pieces. And especially look for an accent piece on a bowl or a segment or whatever that you can glue up and spin. It cuts with the same tools we cut with. It will fracture on you now, so which means sharpen your tools, sharpen
Right.
the tools. Joaquin wants to know if Billy saved the strings off the vinyl.
I didn't. The guy's gonna keep all the scrap metal and the cast iron and go sell it.
That's
Okay.
a shame because you could have made custom made by Billy Burt burning tools for lines. Just turn two little handles and drill through and tie knots on the ends of the strings.
I have I've made my own burning wires using similar technique using. Oh, one of them is I have two different diameters. One of them is made from electric fence wire. Believe it or not, it works great. And the other one is made from some, I think it's nickel chromium safety wire that we used to use to lock nuts in place on aircraft stuff.
You can also use that nickel chromium wire for burning wire.
I do. I make
custom
my
made.
own. Yeah, I make my own for my
With burning
pyrography
tips.
pins. I make my own tips using it. It's perfect.
Yep, I've used guitar strings for those burners, and I've used, my favorite is the picture hanging wire because it's rough and it burns real well and it's cheap.
Yeah, my electric fence wire is a little bit rough and it burns in a hurry.
Yep, I like that.
Picture
It's
wire will
quick.
also saw right through.
Say again, Charlie.
I said, you got to be careful with picture wire. It's so rough sometimes it saws right through the piece. I
I'm not
heard
doing
that.
it
I
on-
don't know
that-
from experience.
I'm not doing that with the picture wire on thin pieces. That's what the guitar string is for. Yeah, I wanted to call everybody's attention, everybody interested in the gears. I dumped a bunch of links into the chat for some gear template designs and so on and how to build them. So if you're interested in the gears, save the chat.
Yes, that's what Donald says. Save the chat. And Dane put in there, he uses spring steel wire for burning wire, like cutting cheese cutting wire. We had a old hobby shop in New Orleans burned down. One of the members of a club I belonged to went in right as they got the fire put out and collected all that old piano wire, piano wire and stuff that they had strings of to make harps and all that. He got them all, rusty and all. Worked great. Looking for more tips and hints right now. Oh no, did y'all see what I saw just now?
I did.
I did.
Oh, are we safe or what?
Go
What can
see.
we do?
There he is.
I'm sure he's got something.
Joaquin,
Yes, sir. Well, I
What
didn't.
magic you got to show us?
Joaquin, it was 85 degrees here in New Orleans today. How was it in Corpus Christi?
It was 85 here also.
You see, isn't that great?
Yeah, Ron Campbell. Have you seen the pictures on Facebook? What he's going through? And-
Yes.
Yeah.
All that
I'm
ice.
I'm going through it too, Joaquin. All
Have
our
you
ice
been tired?
melted or the midday today. So
Yeah.
So it was 85 in Houston too. What a coincidence.
Yeah. Those
That's
people,
right. We got-
y'all are tough, Matt. Y'all are really tough. I give y'all credit.
we got another ice storm coming, so it'll be the third one in like 10 days. So
It
was only in the 70s in North Carolina.
A whopping 20 degrees in Minnesota.
Wow.
yeah, I'm sure it's cold, Scott. I think I'm supposed to be 18 tomorrow night. So that's
God.
Fahrenheit degrees.
Scott says it's 46 degrees in Central California.
Wow. They're not used to that.
No, what do you got for gallery tonight, Joaquin?
Well, can I brag on a tool?
Well, yeah.
No.
Yeah, you can brag on it, just don't insist we use it.
I will not.
Okay.
I buy the carbide cutters for our club. And so I called AZ Carbide, Ron Candle up there. Hey, I need some more cutters. And he says, well, hey, what about these negative rake? Well, I just don't know about them negative rake. I do use negative rake scrapers, but he has a round negative rake You can tell much about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can see.
And I play with it a little bit. It does use a smoother cut on it, and they don't have the square, but then he's got it for the small one too. They're mostly for the Easy Wood tool, the CI1 and the CI3. But it's pretty cool. Values. If you use them, but I use a negative rake, so since I was
Whoa. Somebody, you got muted.
You got muted.
Sorry, that was me. Hit the wrong button. Unmute yourself.
Person.
what I got
Person.
for show
Sorry, Scott.
is
Joaquin.
do I?
I'm sorry, I muted you.
No problem. I don't guess y'all missed anything.
Yeah, you did. Back up. Start again.
But I had this challenge for the club to turn a bow with only 2 tools, no sanding. And so when we had this challenge, I did 2 of them, and all of a sudden I needed them to donate to the Driscoll Children's Hospital for an auction. I give them away. So I tried another one, and it blew up on me. So this was going to be, it's not, but it was going to be a 2 tool without any sanding or anything on it. It was much bigger, but I kept going and going and going. And I was not satisfied with what I was getting out of using. I was just going to use a bow gouge and a skew. And but this is what I ended up with, and it's finished with 50/50 lacquer.
Beautiful.
And it's hackberry. And so I used oil on this to get the grain out of it. This one is hackberry also. I didn't use oil on it. And I think I like the results of this one better.
Beautiful.
I use the oil on. I like
They're
that.
both gorgeous.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
So you said no sanding. Did you burnish?
Yes. Well, no. I ended up having to sand it because I just wasn't satisfied with it, with only using 2 tools. But we had a couple of guys that brought them in that they survived it, and they look good. They had a good cut, a few little tool marks, but it will be a good challenge. If you haven't had that challenge to only use 2 tools on a piece without sanding, see how smooth you can get it only with cutting. Anyway, I wasn't able to finish without sanding these. I wasn't happy with what I was doing, but that's what I've done this week.
Beautiful.
Hey, Joaquin, did you get a chance to use those negative rake scrapers yet on the tool that you got from
Yes,
Easy
I
Carbide?
used it a little bit on this bow, just trying it out, and it was a whole lot smoother cut than it did of a straight edge.
I know he just started selling those, so I was real curious about what you thought of them.
Yeah, I've been waiting for him to sell those for a
Didn't you
couple
say
of
when you
years.
were muted that you were going to send one of those out to everybody?
I think that's what it was.
I think 70 people here. I ain't got that many, Bob.
Hey, Joaquin.
Yeah.
I got some square negative rakes.
What do you think of them?
I love them.
Scott?
I don't turn anything without a negative rake anymore.
They make all the difference in the world. Oh,
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a negative rake.
Boy, it's got a lot on it. Is that the R2?
This is yes, this is the R2 medium.
It's fantastic.
I even have the large one too. This one was just happened to be right next to the bench here.
That's the 16, 15 millimeter.
I'm not sure what it is. It's the Easy Wood
Okay.
CI2.
Oh, the 2. Okay.
But I don't, all my carbides now are all negative rake. I don't use any standard carbides anymore.
Where did you get the squares?
I got this one at Woodcraft.
Okay. What did they run?
They're about 18.
Okay.
You can find them cheaper on Amazon, Joaquin.
Okay. Ron's selling these round ones for 10.
Yeah, I think I've seen these square ones for anywhere from 10 to 18, depending on who you buy them from.
Well, you know, you can get them a lot cheaper when you buy them in them packs for the planer. But I
Yep.
haven't seen the negative ones for the planer.
I haven't seen any negative ones for a planer, but eBay, they do sell them in bulk. I've seen some places selling them in bulk.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go that way next. Thank you, Scott. Neat.
Right. Scott and Joaquin had thrown ideas around about negative rake scrapers and use thereof.
Yep,
I
not a
lost
problem.
Doug, Dave Rhodes, I may need you to mail me the chat. Mine just won't for some reason, well, T-Mobile reason. I lost my connection. So, all right, we're still gathering here, folks. If you want to be part of this, all you have to do is step up. See, we do a gallery, but also what you just saw was folks not commenting on the tools, telling you what they like, they don't like, etc. And that's all within the boundaries of us. It's when we do demonstration, the guy says, well, I can only do this with such and such. That's not true. You can turn wood with a spoon. But we'd like to see what you come up with. And don't tell me you can't do that. I've done that. When I was polled. All right. Anybody else got what? Why are you laughing, Brenda?
Your accent.
My accent? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
when you was Poe.
When I was polled.
Oh. Oh.
And sometimes when I go to the grocery store, I feel that way, Poa. So, all right.
Yeah.
What's up, Dane? You have something to show tonight?
Yeah. So finished up the one that was on the lathe last week.
Boy, those are beautiful.
Nice.
Man.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
that's nice.
Yep.
What dyes did you use, Dane?
Gorgeous.
I used
Very nice, Dane.
a little bit of red coral mix and a little bit of red dye mix. And so I was going to show how to do that tonight, but we kind of ran out of time. So I'll just set that blank aside. And maybe next week, I'll show how I get that pattern.
That's gorgeous.
Beautiful.
What kind of wood is that?
This is Arizona ash. So it's got
Okay.
very boring grain, so you got to do
Right.
something. You got to do something to it to dress it up.
Beautiful.
And it's finished in tunglow.
Hey, Dane, you tried doing the scorching and the embellishing wax on them yet?
The scorching, the wood doesn't react well with it. It just burns in too deep into the soft pores of the ash grain. And then for embellishing waxes, I haven't tried those.
Okay, but that's what you want when you do that. You want the soft to come out. You hit it with a wire brush and get all that soft out, and then you're
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, but with applying the wax, yeah. So I've never used the embellishing waxes.
The ash here,
general,
but what you're doing is beautiful too.
Well, appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah, it's when you torch it, the fire just goes in too deep in this soft grain.
Yeah.
And the hard stuff, it's super hard, but where that grain is at, it is like really porous. It's really soft. So, the fire really eats into it. And I just don't like the way it looks, just torching wise and then brushing it back out and going back over. So,
Are you
yeah,
using a particular
maybe
brand?
one day I'll
of dye?
Huh?
Are you using a particular brand of dye or just?
Yes, I use RIT dye.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Some of those details are on last week's meeting, and it's on
Yes,
our website right now.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yep.
I don't get to make.
And so like I said, so I'm ready to do a demo on how it goes on and whatnot. And it's 15, 20-minute demo I can put on. So we can do it next week.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Let's plug it in the 8 o'clock hour
Following.
next week, 8 o'clock Central Hour.
Dane, how many coats of tongue oil do you put on?
This has got 3.
And how long do you let it sit before you put on the next coat?
I did 2. So this one, so 2 in one day, and then I kind of like forgot about it. And then I put 1 coat on last night.
Okay. Do you buff it afterwards or anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
After the final coat, I buff it. In between the coats, I will wet sand with 2000 grit paper.
Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Very nice.
Thanks, Kate. You home now? Got anything to show?
No, not yet. I'm just finishing
okay.
up at the range, getting the couple last shots in there.
Right on.
But I'll be on the way home soon.
Take
He's got a nice IRD lined up for I think later this week. The details are in our chat. I can't go back to that. Okay, but if you want to see it, it's in the chat. Save the chat before you leave tonight. And that's Donald Masterson says. Now, earlier on tonight, we started this conversation about the club decals, and we've kind of went all the way around, and we went from something that I thought we really wouldn't handle a lot to something that's reasonable. And we're working on those proposals for you right now. We ran a poll tonight to see what interest we had. Dane, can you see the results of the poll? I cannot.
Results of the poll. Give me a minute.
I know that when I minimized it, Eddie, there you go.
It is 98% yes, and there was 1 vote for no. Wow.
Okay. Now, this was just to decide if we're going to pursue this, not your commitment to buy them or anything else. Before you make that commitment or help us make that commitment, you're going to see the actual decal, and you're going to see right here the piece that you're looking at. You'll know the size, the amount, how we're going to mail them, and what it will cost you, a member, to buy the decal, buy the envelope, and have it mailed to you. And I've seen this return address envelopes and things. I know the post office. That's not a great idea. Why don't we stick with, we're going to find an envelope, we can put a stamp on it and mail it to you, and we'll put a scrap of cardboard in there or something to keep them crunching up. But we want to do that because we want to get the word out about worldwidewoodturners.org. We had 90 folks tonight, and it just means that you haven't invited all your wood turning friends. Invite your club, your gang, or whatever. Go out and look on the tailgate in your yard and see who's out there. That's what we're doing. And wait, I just saw it. Joaquin says, I'm ready to turn into a pumpkin. Oh, I thought Joaquin was saying he's going to turn a pumpkin. Well, we just had a hell of a demo come up.
Hey, Eddie, you remember that George Jones who joined the Facebook group this week?
Yes.
I reminded him twice, once today about the meeting, and I don't think he showed up. So I don't know.
Spread his phone number around. Wall call.
Yeah.
And I'm anti-telephone, so if I say alcohol, it's real big time.
So hey, Eddie, when we need to talk to you, how do we get a hold of you?
Message or text or
Facebook,
right?
Email, or on my Facebook channel. I check the clubs at Chase Facebook every day. Also,
okay.
I'm just at. What are we voting on? I missed that.
Okay,
so the votes were there was 61 people or so who said they were interested, and at least 3 people in the chat said they wanted 10 or more stickers. So there's going to be some significant volume, I think, from what I saw.
We're voting on getting stickers or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
It wasn't to buy the stickers or anything. It was just opinions. We're just trying to gather opinions, and everybody's got 2 of them, right? To look like your elbows. But we want to go down this road, but we only go down the road if our membership agrees, and looks like we're at 98%. Yeah, I would take that as a yes. We'll keep working on proposals and we'll let you know when we pop up with a program and exactly what it will cost you. Exactly. And as I said earlier, there will be no profits in this program, none whatsoever. Every single penny will be accounted for, and no matter what it takes, because what it takes is for us to be fair and legal. And I don't like playing games with money. I really don't. And you don't either. So let's just keep it right above board. Jim Hatch says he missed the poll. It's not POLE, Tim. It's PO. I gotta look it up. POLL.
You know what I'm laughing about now, Eddie?
Tim, nobody wants to see you pole dancing, buddy.
No pole dancing, please.
What he was doing out with the guard.
You'll talk about this pole dancer stuff. You know, Doug Rose still around. We're not ready for that.
No, don't mention it to
Tim's
Doug.
Tim's trying to fill in for him.
Pretty good.
Okay, but we're going to look at that and give you a
Oh, good,
proposal
Tim.
and see if we can get this thing working. And I think it'd be a good move for us. And this way, if you buy several, who said it just now? They had told us to remind it. Matt said he told his friend about it. Hey, give him one of those stickers. You can't forget about it. And I had to say that, forget about it. We've got a couple of more comments on chat saved tonight. And that's important to us. I see Cade Boja popped in, but he's not in the shop this evening. But I said earlier he's got a nice IRD scheduled real soon. So you may want to check that out. The details are in the chat. And with those details going into the chat, Dave Rhodes can take that and place it into our events calendar that's connected to our website. And it's the same thing with symposiums, club meetings, gatherings, tool demonstrations, wood shops, all that stuff that happens that would be interesting to wood turners. Put it in there. Let us know about it. I really missed New Orleans with three-sided. Yeah, we got that Gulf of Mexico down there. We don't get that woodworking show down here anymore. I thought it was pretty well attended, but they do one in either Baton Rouge or Alexandra, and that's just a long pedal for me. So, but if you got an event like that coming up, let us know about it. We have Dave Rose says he can put a SVG and PNG version of the sticker on our website. Yeah, we could do that. Yes. That's the beauty of Dave Rose. Don't give him a challenge, okay? Don't tell him he can't do that. You're just gonna drive him crazy because he'll go out and do it. Hey, who's got what tonight? We got a few minutes left before we pull the plug on this thing, but I say pull the plug at 9 o'clock. I cast out. Trace is the host and this evening, and he'll keep it on and monitor, so we can keep chatting about anything. So if you got something particularly you want to ask somebody, they'll probably be on here. We're down to 58, 57 folks. Don't disappear. It might be some interesting stuff for you to talk about. And Billy said, "You're going to make me print my own." Don't hog it on that decal sales, Billy. Don't hog in on it. Dean, we hadn't seen you much lately, bud.
How you feeling?
They're overworking me.
Like the job?
Yeah. Yeah.
In the shop lately?
That's the deal. You take some time off, and when you come back, they want you to make up for it, it seems like. And yeah, Brenda, I did get out in the shop a couple of times, made a few crosses the other day, and
cool.
Then just made I made shavings. You know, when you hadn't been in the shop in a while and you get out there, the first thing I did was just throw a piece of 2x2 pine on the lathe and start cutting on it. It's amazing how much you lose in just a few months of being able to make the kind of cut you want to make. And so it didn't take me too long to catch back up, but
Only been on.
it did take some practice.
And it doesn't take, and if you away from it at all, it doesn't hurt to pick up a scrap off the floor, put it between centers, spin the tools a few times, and spin out something. You know, you don't keep a cove or a bead, just plane something out with the skew to get your hand and eye motion going back together again. I'm working on that, getting that hand-eye motion going back. And that's what it'll take, just a little bit of practice. Dean's correct about that. Just get out and practice a little bit. Trash wood is the best wood for doing that. Trash wood. And I don't mean insult about it. 2x4 is fantastic trash wood. You can get a whole stick of it like $2 at Home Depot or Lowe's, or pick up scraps in your neighborhood. They talk about me in my neighborhood. But
maybe, Eddie, maybe we should call it practice wood.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that. All right.
Not trash wood,
Hey, well, what
practice wood.
rename anything,
Or
right?
wood waiting to
Yeah.
become artistic creations.
Yeah.
Yeah, awaiting creation. Yes, that's the way.
Hey, Eddie, I got a little story
Yes, sir.
about decals, magnetic decals. We had a hands-on down here a couple of years ago, and Ron Campbell, the AZ Carbide, was one of my sponsors down here. When we cleaned up, there was an AZ Carbide magnetic sticker on every lathe we had. This is something to think about.
Yeah.
Don Doyle does that with the rubber Chucky rulers too. I got it. Every time I see him, he's given me one of those.
If they forget your name, they'll forget you. That's the deal in marketing. Don't let them forget
Exactly. You got to
you. When
keep.
I did radio, when I was doing radio, there was, this is late 70s. There was a thing you had to say what time it is. Well, it's 8:56 King Edward cigar time. And we'd have to do that King Edward cigar time probably 5 or 6 times an hour. And somebody said, well, what do you get out of it? When you think about cigars, you think King Edward cigars. It was just an automatic thing. And but the other thing was about stickers. When I was in a bass club fishing, a friend of mine got a bass tracker fishing boat from that company up in Missouri. Who's
Bass
that?
Pro Shops.
Bass Pro
Bass
Shops.
Pro Shop, yeah. And he was so proud that he went out and got magnetic stickers that go on the side of his boat with his name and all that stuff on it. Okay, you gotta think that idea all the way through.
On his
Aluminum boat.
fiberglass boat.
Aluminum.
This is aluminum boat. Aluminum
Something
boat.
different.
He must have got some of those new type of stickers.
Yeah, I bet those magnets stuck just as good as they do to my Ford truck.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
don't let
yeah.
your water hit him. All right. Anybody else tonight, folks?
No, I believe that's it.
All right. I'm gonna say goodnight. We're
Now,
gonna put
forever
this
say
thing
your
on.
piece.
All right. I'm gonna put this thing on idle. If you want to stick around and chat, go ahead and do so. About 50 of y'all out there tonight. I thank you for being here. And I always say it, and I really mean it. This is the best part of my week when I get to sit here on the tailgate with my friends, talking wood turning and everything else.
Amen.
Y'all take care.
Gotcha.
Be
Good night,
safe.
Captain. Have a good week.
Save the
Be
chat.
safe.
Save the chat.
There you go, Donald.
There you go, Don.
Yeah. Good night, everybody.
Not
Good
everybody.
night.
y'all.
Night.
Good night, y'all.
Nobody says good night anymore because nobody's leaving.
See, that's what happens when you're having a good time. You don't want to go home.
Yeah. And I'm sitting here hungry. I'm gonna go find something to eat. Can't miss nothing. Somebody do something
Bob-
exciting.
Birdhouse Bob has
Oreos.
got a nice bowl, but not for M&Ms. They'll fall right through it.
Brenda, you hit the leave button. That's what takes care of it.
No, do that. I just can't do it.
Well, Brenda, the wife told me I could fill this plate as many times as I wanted to.
There you go. Good exercise back and forth.
I'd use that thing as a spoon then.
You can do what I do, Brenda, is I got things in a wireless headphone, and I could walk downstairs and get a drink of water and still hear everything that everybody's saying. So
Right.
That's
Yeah, they're
true.
handy.
they
I
really
got a-
are. They really are.
Then I got a second pair for when this pair goes dead, and they have a
Yep.
battery charge for 4.5 hours.
Hmm. I had one of
Yep.
those years ago for my phone.
And
but-
they're comfortable, and they fit, and they're perfect for people like me that have cauliflower ear.
Oh my goodness.
What kind are those, Dane?
Yep. I know now.
They're these.
What proves super long battery life? What's the brand?
Yeah.
VX17 Cuffy wireless.
X17.
Yep, I got them on Amazon. They're like 40, $45, something like that.
Called wireless earbuds.
Yep, earbuds.
Earbuds.
You know, and they look like this.
Okay.
Here, I'll spotlight.
What's it say on the bottom? Lift it up a little bit.
Hold on, let me spotlight.
You're spotlighted.
I am now. So they look like that.
Battery life, wireless sports earbuds.
And here's the specs on the back.
And they had those little loops to go over your ear.
Yes.
And they will connect to anything that has wireless.
Correct.
I have some
They come
ISO
in-
tunes that I really like. They have an 11-hour battery in them, and they aren't typical earbuds. They sit on your neck, kind of like a pair of glasses. In other words, they just sort of wrap over you, and you can pick them up and use them when you're in the mood. And if you forget to turn them on and off, it doesn't matter. It's really got 11 hours. It runs really well.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
You say
I love those kind. I had some that are actually wireless, so you pull them
Yeah,
out.
these are the wireless. They just happen to fit
okay.
on your neck.
No, I meant the ones I've had are
as
more
if you've
wireless.
got glasses. That way I've always got
On
them.
your ear then, or not? Do they need to go in your ear?
Yeah, they go in your ear. They just sort of pick up and
Okay,
go
gotcha.
in.
I
So
gotcha.
again, I needed this style because those, you know, your typical earbuds aren't made for wrestlers or former wrestlers. So I needed something that would kind of get close, but then at the same time have something that will keep them supported up on top.
Yeah.
These are supposed to be able to deal with noise. And when I put these things in my ear, I hear a hum in the background when I've got the lathe on, but that's all it is. I mean, it's really quiet. Doesn't matter if I've got my dust collector on or whatever, you just barely hear it. But it's
Right.
enough that if somebody's in the room and says something to you, you can kind of hear them, but just barely. They're in the distance.
Yeah, it'd be great it works great for folks with normal ears.
Yeah.
That's what I'm wondering. I mean,
I got normal ears, but they still won't stay in my ear. Those iPods, they've falling out all the time. So I like what you got, Dane.
Yeah, give it a try.
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm wondering, you know, if they'll fit in the ear or will they be uncomfortable?
Oh
I
no,
really like the.
they're comfortable.
not-
Dane.
They're not clipped on your ear. They're just laying
my
on
left
it, right?
on my left ear, you know, totally comfortable. You know, it fits in, and like what Dave was saying, you know, it's noise canceling, and you know, but my right one, you know, that, you know, the bottom part of your ear, well, that's all solid. That comes all the way up, and you ain't squeezing anything in.
So I really like the ones that go over your ear like that because they stay in a lot better when you're
Right.
moving around.
Yeah.
And that's what I use, that's what I've been using for the last year now, to include when I'm demoing.
Okay.
And I can hear y'all fine, and I guess y'all can hear me talk okay, so.
Yep, they work good.
I'll have to look into that because my iPods in my left ear, they work great, doesn't fall out. My right ear falls out all the time.
The other thing is look at the bone induction headphones too. They actually
Yeah,
don't go
that's
in your,
pretty
they don't
good.
go in your ears, they go in front of it.
The what is?
Like these here.
Okay.
They're going over, but I don't have them turned on, but you can hear it very, very well from here. Now, it's not really for music, but for listening to voice and stuff, it works great.
They're not squeezing on your head real hard or
Now
anything.
they're sitting on top of my ears.
Yeah.
I've heard some good
Yeah,
things
those
about
ones are
those
pretty
bone
amazing.
conduction ones. Yeah, I've been looking into those myself.
That one's got a
but you can hear
speaker
things
and
going
a-
on around you too at the same time. They don't cancel out. They're, so somebody else is carrying a conversation or something else is going on, you still listen to it, and they don't press against your ear. They're not shoved into your ear or anything else. So, and they stay on extremely well.
What are those kind of called?
This brand was Aftershock.
A bunch of different people make bone conduction earphones
Yeah.
or headphones.
Yeah, this is the headphone. This is the mic part, and it sits in front of your ear. This goes over your ear, and that just sits and pushes against the front section of your ear. Doesn't go in your ear. It sits right here.
Right. What did you call that kind then, Matt?
Bone conduction. They're conducting the sound into the bone rather than through your eardrums.
Really?
Yes.
And they stay on very well because it's totally looped around your head and over it. So it stays on extremely well. Easy to wear for a long period of time and stuff. So.
Okay.
I normally wear them for this meeting. However, my wife is out of town, so I'm a bachelor for about 5 weeks. So.
There you go.